At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Travis Kelce and Chris Jones will both play Sunday against the Jaguars. Kelce is back from a hyperextended right knee, and Jones now has a new one-year contract. Also Sunday, the Bills play their home opener against the Raiders. ESPN's Mike Tannenbaum says this is a big game for Buffalo after Josh Allen's 4 turnovers on Monday night.
The only way you're going to lose that game is if you turn the ball over. And I'm just disappointed that Josh Allen at this point in his career, as we're watching, one forced throw after the other here, continue to make horrible decisions. And I just didn't think we would be seeing that. So this is a really important game for the Bills. You don't want to go 0-2, especially with 2 losses in the conference.
Mike Tannenbaum on Unsportsmanlike. The Ravens will be without 4 more starters Sunday against the Bengals. Offensive lineman Ronnie Stanley and Tyler Linderbaum, corner Marlon Humphrey, and safety Marcus Williams all out. Commanders defensive end Chase Young is now cleared to play Sunday against the Broncos. He's been out since the preseason opener with a neck injury.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tumplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Happy Football Friday, y'all. Tigers are going to be wheels up here we're actually expecting sirens to head down Government Street in front of our building in about 30 minutes from right now. Tigers will be wheels up to Starkville. Of course, the Saints practice today at their indoor facility before they hit the road on Sunday to head to Charlotte to play Monday Night Football against the Panthers. So we got a ton to do. Right, Radio Hour, Phil Steele in 15 minutes, but let us begin today as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Well, Brian Kelly met with reporters on Thursday night, last media availability before the team head to Starkville, and he gave some disappointing news about Mason Taylor and Omar Spates. Here you go.
Mason is made progress. He was out there today on the ground running. So, I think we had him at questionable. I would say he's a game-time decision. We're going to have to see him move around and see what he looks like in pregame. Omar is not as far ahead. We're going to bring him. We're going to dress him out and see what he looks like, but I'm less optimistic about him. But we'll see what happens. He's still got 48 hours, and if he can make the same kind of progress that Mason did, we got a chance. But I would say he's probably more in the doubtful range.
Okay, so Mason Taylor, questionable. Omar Spates, doubtful. So let's run through this a little bit and talk about some of the particulars and how this may look this weekend, and in particular with LSU against Mississippi State, this opponent in particular. First, the question that I had that I think everybody was going to ask is, oh my God, are they going to move Harold Perkins back inside? Because keep in mind, your off-ball linebackers were Omar Spates. You brought in Omar Spates because you needed a veteran presence there. And then you were trying Harold Perkins there. Didn't go so great week 1. So you move Perkins back outside, you move Penn back inside. Penn was an 80 tackle guy a year ago. That makes a ton of sense. Well, your depth after that was West Weeks, his brother, freshman Whit Weeks, who they're very high on, but you don't have great numbers. So do you move Perkins back inside? Brian Kelly put that to bed very quickly.
No, we'll activate West Weeks, Whit Weeks, Greg Penn, Christian Braithwaite. Those will be the guys that will work the inside, and then Harold will obviously be the guy that we move around.
So, first of all, he's telling you there that the Harold Perkins experiment was a failure. And the bummer of it is you wasted spring and all of fall camp trying to make him into something he's not. You invested a lot of time and sweat equity into trying to make Harold Perkins an off-ball linebacker, and it took one game to realize, man, we don't have the time for this. And you don't. You need him to be an exceptional edge rusher, which is what they're going to make him do. So you're going to count on guys to step up. I don't worry at all about Greg Penn. Greg Penn, as we mentioned, Greg Penn started the opener a year ago against Florida State. Greg Penn's a big physical. Like, he is the prototype throwback linebacker. The big dude that's 6'2", 6'3", 245. Like, he's just a big old thick dude. You could stand in the middle, have him run downhill, see ball, hit ball, stop the run. He's very good at that. Now, do you want Greg Penn turning and coverage and running and flipping his hips and trying to defend to the sideline? Not necessarily. But if you need an off-ball linebacker to take on linemen, shed those blocks, and make tackles, Greg Penn's great at that. West Weeks is interesting because he's likely the guy that gets the start alongside Greg Penn. And if you remember, West Weeks, he played his freshman season at Virginia, transferred to LSU a year ago, played in a reserve role, special teams, reserve linebacker, but has continued to improve and get better. Now, his brother, Whit Weeks, is the true freshman, and he's fantastic. They love Whit Weeks, and Whit has the much higher ceiling than West. West is just a college junior who's in his third college season, who's got more experience, and is likely that guy that's going to be in there. But if you need a rotation in this game, then Whit Weeks and Christian Braithwaite, a couple of freshmen, are the guys that are next up. So I will remind you that a week ago against Grambling, where Spates got injured, and then you were up so much, you had backups in there primarily, but West Weeks was your leading tackler last week against Grambling. He and Zy Alexander tied for the lead with 6 tackles. Not a great thing when you got a cornerback as your leading tackler, but nonetheless. And Greg Penn had 5. So Weeks had 6, Penn had 5. Those two are likely your starting inside linebackers this week. I like that matchup. I mean, those two guys are more than capable of filling that role. Do I want Omar Spates in this game? Absolutely, I do. But do I feel like in this game, in this matchup, are those two guys capable behind a very big, physical, deep defensive line? Yes. Mason Smith, Mekhi Wingo, Jordan Jefferson, Jacobian Guillory, pushing the pocket, collapsing, running lanes. Yes, I like this matchup a lot because of what Mississippi State is, and we've talked about this all week. And Zach Arnett can say what he wants, and anybody who covers that team can say whatever you want to say about what they could be, might be. They're not the air raid anymore, clearly. And through 2 games, one of them against Southeastern Louisiana and one an overtime game against Arizona where, Mississippi State controlled that game in the first half and just missed opportunities where Arizona was just turning the ball over left and right. Arizona had 5 turnovers in that game. But Mississippi State through 2 weeks is 22nd in the country in rushing offense, 221 yards a game. Woody Marks last week had 123 yards on 24 rushes. State ran 39 times for 145 against Arizona. They are a play defense, line it up, hit you in the mouth, run the football behind Woody Marks. That's what they are with Zach Arnett. They're 22nd in rush offense and 103rd in pass offense. I mean, this is like a Les Miles throwback, if you think of it in those terms. They're going to run the ball. They're not going to throw it. They're going to throw it to be efficient. They're going to play defense and try to win games like that. So in this matchup in particular, I think I'm good with the combination of Penn and West weeks. I think you can manage this game this week with those guys. Now, moving forward, you're going to need, especially, look, next week you're going to see KJ Jefferson, who can beat you with his arm, and obviously Kentucky can run. You're going to need more depth on your front seven for sure next week. You hope Spates is back next week. And then when you play Ole Miss on the road, you better believe you want Omar Spates on the field in that game because of his athleticism and ability to be a three-down linebacker. So there are games ahead where you're going to need that guy. But this weekend in particular, you should be able to manage defensively without Omar Spates. Now, offensively, you heard him say Mason Taylor is questionable for the game.
Mason Taylor!
If Mason Taylor is not able to go, that very likely means Mac Markway gets the start at tight end. I'll remind you, Connor Gilbreth, the JUCO transfer, is also in there. He's been playing a lot. He wears number 89. He's basically a 6 offensive lineman. They're going to use him to block. You'll see him out there a bunch. But Mac Markway, this would be his opportunity as sort of the next man up. And remember, Mike Denbrock, the offensive coordinator, who also works with the tight ends, Mike Denbrock said this about Mac Markway during fall camp.
Mac Markway in particular has had the best camp so far as moving himself in a position to contribute to the team. Through a physicality standpoint, I think he's moving better in space. So there's some things that he can also give us in the passing game, which is welcome.
So you're looking at a guy in Mac Markway he can put his hand in the dirt. He's a physical inline blocker, and he's also become a more polished route runner and pass catcher. They like Mac Markway a lot. He looks like your prototype tight end. He looks like Travis Kelce and George Kittle. I'm not saying he's those guys. I'm not saying he's going to be an all-pro. What I mean is it's not Juwan Johnson, a receiver converted to tight end. This is a true prototypical tight end who can put his hand in the dirt, three-point stand, be an inline blocker, who can also go run routes and is a mismatch for linebackers and safeties. So watch for 84. He could have a sizable role this weekend, especially if Mason Taylor is not able to go for LSU against Mississippi State.
Mason Taylor!
I was waiting on it. All right. LSU against Mississippi State, 11 a.m. in Stark Vegas. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're aboard with us here. Friday shows are brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Love telling you about the Williamson Eye Center. Give them a buzz at 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. Told you yesterday about the EVO ICL procedure. That's an implantable contact lens. I tell you about LASIK all the time, and LASIK is awesome, and it is what I had, and it's life-changing. Some people are not a candidate for LASIK. Maybe you have thin corneas, maybe it's an age thing, whatever. If you're not a candidate for LASIK, the EVO ICL could be a better alternative for you. Just ask when you go for your consultation with Dr. Blake Williamson at the Williamson Eye Center. And by the way, the Williamson Eye Center has been doing EVO ICL implants, the implantable contact lens procedures, for 20 years. When it was in clinical trials, they were doing this. So it's not like it's a brand new thing. They've got decades of experience doing this. It's the Williamson Eye Center. No matter your age or your refractive issue, they have a procedure to help you see 20/20 without contacts or glasses. It's the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020 or williamsoneye.com. All right, y'all, it is after further review. We are thrilled to have you hanging out with us here. We'll knock out a quick break, come back, got 2 segments with Phil Steele, previewing the biggest games of the weekend ahead in college football. Theriot next hour. We do have our celebrity guest picker confirmed for hour 3. You are going to enjoy this. It's all ahead on a busy Football Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Stick around.
AFR.
Okay, y'all, it is a Football Friday. Maybe you're heading out to Friday Night Lights. You need some dinner before you hit the stadium. Pluckers, Nicholson, or Bluebonnet. If you're going to be at the field tonight watching a high school game and you want to get a bite to eat after, either Pluckers location will be open midnight or later every night of the week. Pluckers opens at 11 a.m. every single day. So on your football Saturday, you want to be there to watch kickoff with LSU and Mississippi State. By the way, official kickoff is 11:07 a.m. Central. So they open the doors at 11. You got plenty of time to get to your table, your bar stool, get that first cold draft beer, and be ready to roll for LSU and Mississippi State with an 11:07 a.m. kickoff. Pluckers. Nicholson just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. They'll have every game on every network. A lot of people, the game on Peacock with Washington and Michigan State. Can't see it? No worries. Go to Pluckers. They'll have it. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine in, carry out, or delivery. Remember, it's Pluckers where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Get 3.99% financing on select 2023 models at Corvell Toyota in Opelousas. And we also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Officially, it's a fridge full of beer. Unofficially, it's free AC. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Football Friday, joined as we are every Football Friday by Phil Steele. To preview the biggest games in college football, he's on Twitter at PhilSteele042. Make sure you check out PhilSteele.com. That's STEELE. PhilSteele.com. And our conversations are brought to you by Gage, Louisiana's #1 Cummins dealer. Phil, how are you, man?
I am doing great, Matt. How about yourself?
Hey, you nailed it. LSU beat Grambling. I tell you what, this guy's good. Everyone around here needed a breather. We'll get into LSU-Mississippi State a bit later. Phil, let's start. I like to just kind of look at the Friday games. There's 3 games today. I don't know that anything jumps out at me. Any meat on the bone there for you with the 3 matchups tonight on Friday night?
I'm pretty much the same way. I would lean with Maryland over Virginia. I would lean with UTSA over Army, but nothing really jumps out at me that would make it be like, oh, wow, I really like this game. But we should learn a lot about the teams. That's what you use week 3 for. You've had two games now. This is the one where you really learn about the team, I think.
Phil, let's start then with the morning slate on Saturday. And I do want to ask about Florida State. They're a huge favorite at Boston College. I'm looking at 24.5 right now, and Boston College hasn't been very good. What we've seen Florida State now for 2 weeks, and man, they look really impressive. No letdown after LSU. Is the expectation that Florida State should go into Chestnut Hill and just roll up on Boston College?
That's what the expectation is, but I'm actually leaning a little bit with the dog in this one for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's Red Bandana Day, so
okay.
Boston College is always fired up for that. We've seen some upsets through the years. And then, of course, the weather. I think that's the reason the number was 26.5, 27. It's come down to 24.5, and generally the weather evens things out. It favors the underdog because it makes it tougher for Florida State to show their speed advantage that they may have. And things like that. So I do think it's going to be tougher weather for this game, and that would have me leaning with the underdog Boston College, especially on Red Bandana Day.
Yeah, that's, of course, a tribute to a former BC lacrosse player who was one of the heroes of 9/11 there in the tower. It's a great story if anybody's never seen it. The Big Noon Kickoff game, Phil, although Big Noon Kickoff, the show is going to be out in Boulder for Colorado State. Big Noon Kickoff, the 11 a.m. Central Fox game is Penn State at Illinois. Illinois, tough road loss last week on Friday. Penn State, Phil, we talked about, could be the team maybe to challenge for the Big Ten East. Any trouble there for Penn State going on the road to Champaign?
Penn State's looked like the best team in the Big Ten so far. I mean, they've got the run game with Allen and Singleton. They've got the quarterback with Drew Allar. They've got the defense, which all three of the units rank in my top 5 units in the country, defense line, linebacker, DB. So this is a loaded Penn State team. But they are laying over 2 touchdowns here to Illinois. They're giving 15 points here. And I know Illinois has not looked good. I mean, Toledo had a 28-20 first down edge on them, and they got blown out by Kansas. Not even as close as the final score would indicate. But this is one of those circle the wagon games, I think, for Illinois. And prior to the year, Matt, I only had Penn State about a 3 to 7 point favorite in the game. I've raised that since to about 10 to 14, but I would still take anything over 14 points with Illinois. I do think Penn State wins, but I think Illinois gives them a better game than they gave Kansas last week.
Phil Steele's with us. In a couple of weeks, LSU is going to head up to Como to take on Missouri. Missouri's got a sincere challenge this weekend with Kansas State going into Columbia. The Wildcats are a 4-point road favorite at Missouri. Can Missouri pull the home upset as a live dog there?
I like Kansas State in this one for a couple of reasons. You go back to last year's game. Kansas State won that thing 40-12. Now, granted, it was probably a little bit closer in the final score. Kansas State got the benefit of some turnovers, but they were in control throughout the entire game. I love the way they're running the football with Giddens and Ward. Everybody wondered, including myself, who's going to replace Deuce Vaughn, but Giddens and Ward are combining to have this team averaging nearly 5 yards a carry. Will Howard looks like a veteran at the quarterback spot, and I've sort of been nonplussed with Missouri so far this year. You go back to last week's game against Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee, a 3-touchdown dog, had the ball at the end of the game, down by 4 with a chance to win it. The South Dakota game was not that impressive either in the opener. I just think Kansas State's the better team and is able to go on the road and get the win. And I think the 4.5's a little cheap here. I like K-State to win this by a touchdown or more.
Okay. Let's ask another SEC one here, Phil. It's maybe similar to the Florida State game earlier that we mentioned. Georgia's at home against South Carolina, and they're a big favorite there at 27.5. But, South Carolina and Shane Beamer and Spencer Rattler, they play well. I mean, I know last year Georgia made the trip up to Columbia, Missouri, and got their scare. I'm wondering if maybe Georgia 230 napping a little bit in a sleepy spot again as a big favorite against South Carolina. How do you see that one going, Phil?
Yeah, and Matt, if Georgia's involved, I love them as an away favorite. Just absolutely love them, and I hate them as a home favorite. They're already 0-2 against the spread as a home favorite this year. They're a 27.5-point favorite. And South Carolina does very well in this role. Whenever they've been a 20-plus dog in conference play, they're 6-2 against the spread. You go back to last year, they were a 3-touchdown dog to Tennessee. They pulled the upset. 3-touchdown dog to Clemson, pulled the upset. And those were off of, remember, prior to that, they had just been blown out by Florida, 38-6. So you think South Carolina's got no chance, and they played great in those games. Georgia does not do well as a home favorite. The visitor has covered 7 in a row in this series. I like South Carolina to keep this one well under the number of 27.5 and get the cover this week. Georgia will win. It should be about a 14 to 20 point win, I would say, but I'm taking the big points with South Carolina.
Phil Steele is with us at PhilSteele042. Let me get one more info. We'll break, come back, and preview the night slate. I did want to ask also about a Big Ten ACC matchup with Minnesota going on the road to North Carolina. The Tar Heels, I mean, I know Florida State feels like the cream of the crop in that conference, but could Miami, could North Carolina, could Clemson maybe find themselves a little bit and come up? But what do you think about North Carolina at home with the test with the Gophers coming in?
You know, I think Vegas has this one perfect. I would have put the spread about 7. I believe the spread's about 7.5 in the game. It's right where it should be. I think North Carolina is the better team. They're at home. They've got Drake May, a quarterback who's he actually only has 2 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions this year. 0 touchdowns last week against App State, but we know he's one of the best in the country. And Minnesota's getting their run game going. I like what Darius Taylor's doing, the Western Michigan or Sean Tyler, the Western Michigan transfer as well. They've got 2 really good running backs there. The defense with Joe Rossi has the edge to Minnesota, but North Carolina's at home with the quarterback edge and probably the offensive edge as well. So I would have had North Carolina by about a touchdown in this game, and that's about where Vegas has it.
He is Phil Steele. Our chats every week are brought to you by Gage Telephone, Louisiana's #1 Cummins dealer. Visit Gage. Visit GageGenerators.com. GageGenerators.com. Gage, Louisiana's #1 Cummins dealer. Sit tight, Phil. We'll come back. We'll preview the evening slate, and then we'll circle back to, of course, to finish with LSU-Mississippi State there at 11 a.m. in Starkville. Phil Steele's with us on a Football Friday edition of AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001. That's where you can find them. 752-0001 or 1hourbr.com. Looking forward to it. I'll have lunch next week with Paul and Matt over at River City's 1 Hour Air. Good opportunity to catch up on the coming cooler weather, which is going to be right around the bend, as we all know, as we start to prepare for it. But in the meantime, if your home central heater isn't keeping up, if you have an issue, call River City's 1 Hour Air. Lydia Dees called River City's 1 Hour Air and sent this 5-star Google review. Britain was the absolute best. I signed up for the membership to make sure he was the one who came back to take care of us. Another 5-star Google review, a raving review of one of their great technicians, Britain, who's been to my house as well. If you have issues with your home central AC, there's just nobody that's going to do better work at a fair price with the best customer service than River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP or 2.9% for 72 months on all new 23 Ram 1500 trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come home in Baton Rouge. I'm ready what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down to
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
We continue with Phil Steele. Of course, our conversations with Phil every Friday are brought to you by Gage, Louisiana's #1 Cummins dealer. Phil, let's pick up with the afternoon slate. And you nailed this one a year ago. And the launching point really for Washington was their win against Michigan State. Well, now they have to go on the road to East Lansing. Weird scenario, Mel Tucker suspension. There's just obviously a different sort of emotional dynamic in this one. But Washington is a big favorite in the game, a big road favorite in the game. What do you think, Phil? Washington, Michigan State.
Yeah, I think this one's tough to call depending on how Michigan State comes out emotionally for this one. Mel Tucker was their leader, you know, the guy that said, hey, we're going to take them out in the deep water where the pain is. And that's how they won back in 2020. But he's not there on the sideline. But will they rally? Will it be an us against the world? Mark D'Antonio's coming back. He'll be on the sideline for this. Harlan Barnett's the interim head coach. Washington, it's a much different than last year when Washington was the underdog. Now the line's gone from 14 all the way up to 17. They're on the road. I could see Michigan State playing their heads up for this one. They've got the good defense, but I think it's tough to call. I think Washington's the better team. Should win by a couple of touchdowns, but really no value with the spread right now.
What about Tennessee and Florida here, Phil? Tennessee has not won in Gainesville in 20 years. It's stunning when you think of that, but it's also stunning to Phil to look and go, Tennessee's only a 6-point favorite against this Florida team? It's a stinky line. What gives in this one, Phil?
Yeah, and I actually like Florida plus the points. As you mentioned, the series history just screams Florida. Florida is a team that wins in the swamp. In fact, the only time ever that since 1976 Tennessee's been favored in the swamp, they lost that game. That was back in the 1990s. So it's definitely something where mentally Florida comes in with a large advantage. They play well as a dog. And it's interesting, Matt, my average game grade, which takes into account, has nothing to do with the starting grade. It just looks at the opponent, your points, and your yards that you have on the season. It actually has Florida, the better team in the average game grade so far at 110.9 versus 106.5. So it favors Florida by about 6 points in this game, and they're getting 6.5 points. So I definitely like Florida to keep this one very tight, if not pull the upset this week.
Okay, man, that would certainly shake up things on Rocky Top if it went that way. Phil Steele is with us. Phil, I'm sure there's not many people that are going to ask you about Vanderbilt UNLV, but those who had a season-long win total play on Vanderbilt could be very interested in this one. Vandy goes on the road. They're a 5-point favorite. This is at Allegiant. This is at the Raiders Stadium, so beautiful venue. 6 o'clock on the CBS Sports Network. Does Vandy move to 3-1?
Yeah, this is one of those games, Matt, where I'm arguing with my computer because my computer's calling for UNLV to win this thing by 5. But I've watched Vanderbilt and I've watched UNLV so far this year. UNLV got a late touchdown against Michigan. They played pretty good in the game against Michigan, but they did need that late touchdown to pull out the win. Vanderbilt, meanwhile, as you mentioned, their goal is to get to a bowl game. So this is a vital game for them. It's Raiders Stadium. They'll be pumped up. You've got an SEC team that's really excited about the game. I got to think they beat a Mountain West team by at least a touchdown. So I like Vanderbilt to go on the road and get the win here. And like I said, my computer's got UNLV by 5. I'm taking Vandy by over a touchdown. We'll bet something on that.
All right, we'll see. We'll see if you're fighting with your computer on Saturday. We'll look forward to seeing what the result will be. There's a couple of interesting non-conference games throughout the evening as well. Georgia Tech is at Ole Miss. Ole Miss was in a dogfight against Tulane last week down at Yulman Stadium. Is this a relative breeze for Ole Miss as a 17.5-point home favorite against Georgia Tech?
That game against Tulane last week is definitely a misleading final. I mean,
Yes.
It was, a 7-point game in the fourth quarter, and then a couple of late scores by Ole Miss, including a fumble return for a touchdown, gave him the margin, and that was against a backup quarterback. I just like Coach Bry. I mean, he's a guy that gets the most out of the talent on hand. Georgia Tech plays hard. They took Louisville to the wire in the first game. They're getting a lot of points here. And the thing with Ole Miss, they like to work on that run game. They're going to continue to run the football. It's going to shrink the clock. I'm going to take Georgia Tech plus the big points in this one, but I do like the Rebels to win this, probably by about 10 points.
What about BYU at Arkansas? A couple of 2-0 teams, Phil, but it might be a misleading 2-0 if that makes sense. Arkansas is an 8-point home favorite there up at Reynolds Razorback Stadium.
Yeah, and I like the fact that last week for Coach Pittman at Arkansas was telling the team all week long, hey, we're not practicing well. We're not practicing well. Do I have to tell you this? If we lose to Kent, and they came out and didn't play well in the first half. They played much better in the second half. They won't have Rocket Sanders here, but I think you're going to have a better practice all week long for Arkansas and a better game overall. BYU's offense has been struggling. I'm not a huge Keaton Slovis fan. He didn't look great at Pitt last year. Hasn't looked overwhelming so far with BYU. So I add it all up. I like Arkansas to win this one by double digits at home, and they better. Look at those next 4 games Arkansas has got. It's the toughest stretch in the country. If they don't look good this week, then look out for Arkansas this year.
Everybody at Media Days wonders why the schedule makers at Arkansas hate Sam Pittman. He's such a nice guy, but he ends up with the worst schedule every year. It's brutal there. So we'll see how it goes this weekend. Phil likes Arkansas at home against BYU. He is Phil Steele on Twitter at PhilSteele042. Couple of more. Syracuse is at Purdue. It's a short line, 2.5 points. Syracuse is a road favorite. That's the night game on NBC. We mentioned earlier we're not going to get to see the Washington-Michigan State game. That's on Peacock. The one we will get on NBC is Syracuse at Purdue. What do you think, Phil?
Sort of tough for me to call because Purdue's tough at night as a dog. As we know throughout the years, they've pulled many upsets and knocked off a lot of number 2 teams. Syracuse has been looking really good, though, so far this year. And they're on the road. I got to call for Syracuse to come out with the win, but I think it should be a close, hard-fought game.
Backyard brawl, Pitt, West Virginia, sort of a rekindling of an old rivalry. How do you see that one going?
Last week, I would have said Pitt by a touchdown. I think they were the better team. But last week, they did not look good against Cincinnati. 2 areas. Their quarterback, Phil Jurkovec, 10 of 32 passing the football. That's not going to cut it. Defensively, Pitt hangs its hat on being one of the toughest rush defenses in the country. Last week, Cincinnati shredded them for over 200 yards. When I talked to Neil Brown over this after spring practice was over, he was pretty buoyant about his offensive line and his run game, and that's shown up in the first 2 games. I thought they played good in the opener against Penn State, gave them a better game than the score would indicate. Penn State scored that late touchdown in the final seconds to win it by 21. And so what I thought would be Pitt -7, I'm actually calling for West Virginia by 1 now. I've got the Mountaineers pulling out the backyard brawl at home. And if you watch last year's game, I thought West Virginia outplayed Pitt last year, just came up short with that interception return for a touchdown.
Phil Steele is with us. Got a couple of more. I'd be remiss, Phil, if I didn't obligatorily ask about Coach Prime, Colorado State. Last week you said if Colorado won again, you'd have to reconsider. What are your thoughts now after another impressive win by the Buffs?
Yeah, and, coming into the year, Matt, I had this one circled as a potential huge play because Colorado State's off a bye. I talked to Coach Norvell. He was not happy about all the publicity Colorado was getting. You knew this was an A++ game for Colorado State. You look at Colorado, they had 2 huge games to open. They've got Oregon and USC on deck. You talk about a flat spot, and this is a game where I was picturing Colorado State in a potential upset, but game day's on hand for crying out loud. And then Coach Norvell has his comments and gets primetime all fired up for this one. So It's a game where I still would probably lean a little bit with Colorado State, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to the betting window. I'm betting against Colorado. They actually lose a game.
It's been impressive, man, what the Buffs have been able to do. All right, Phil Steele is with us. Of course, our conversations with Phil each week are brought to you by Gage, Louisiana's #1 Cummins dealer. You can visit today for a quote at GageGenerators.com, GageGenerators.com. Okay, Phil, 11 a.m., the Bourbon and Cheerios game, as it's known down here. LSU heads to Starkville. Tigers are pushing a double-digit favorite. I see some 9.5s out there, maybe some 10s by the time we get to kickoff. Phil, did LSU do enough to get right against Grambling to feel comfortable going on the road to Mississippi State, try to pull off an SEC win on the road against the Bulldogs?
Yeah, and like I said last week, Matt, I thought LSU actually played a good game against Florida State for the first three quarters. That fourth quarter was pretty hideous, but prior to that, I thought they played a good game, probably should have been leading after three quarters in it. So I still think LSU is a top-notch team. And with Mississippi State, I liked them last week against Arizona. And I'm watching the game, Matt, and they're up 14-0, and they score a touchdown, but it's called back on a hold. They miss a field goal. Arizona gets a long pass, a diving catch at the 2-yard line, a questionable touchdown. All of a sudden, it's 14-7 at the half. But for the game, they got outgained by 100 yards. And they were only up because Arizona turned the ball over 4 straight times. So I was not that impressed with what I saw from Mississippi State. I do think LSU's the better team. I also like the fact that it is an 11 o'clock in the morning start. So, the crowd's not going to be as fierce as it would for a night game. I like LSU to win this game. I don't know about laying 9.5 points on the road with all the cowbells and things. But I like LSU to win the game and win it by at least a touchdown.
All right. Phil Steele likes the Tigers to go on the road and beat the Bulldogs. He's on Twitter at PhilSteele042. Make sure you follow him there, and make sure you're subscribed up to Phil Steele YouTube channel. Phil, let's talk a little bit about that Phil Steele Plus tour that they can get at the YouTube channel via PhilSteele.com.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Matt. Yeah, the Phil Steele Plus tour is up and available right now. I show you all the features that are on Phil Steele Plus, and we've added a bunch of new things this year, so make sure you check that out. You also get 10 free plays, and the plays overall now 92 and 67, including the quick hitters over the last 2 years. So it's got a pretty good record. I put a lot of work into it. I spent a good portion of my Thursday night preparing this thing for the little half hour that it is. But you get yourself 10 free plays this week.
Get on to PhilSteele.com. You'll see it linked through to the Phil Steele Plus for today, September the 15th. Or, of course, you can just go log on to YouTube and go subscribe up to Phil Steele's channel. It's there for you. Phil's with us every Friday, courtesy of Gage, Louisiana's #1 Cummins dealer. Phil, we always appreciate it. Enjoy the football this weekend, and we'll look forward to visiting again next Friday.
Sounds great, man. Always enjoy the conversation, my friend. Have a great weekend.
You do the very same. That is Phil Steele. We'll continue on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. You know where to find them, agent225.com, agent225.com. And be sure that you're following Darren on all of the social media, because he uses his social media platforms as a great opportunity to give you free advice. Like, for example, he's got a post right now on his Facebook page, which are surprising costs when building a new home, something to know if you're going into a home building process. So that's just part of it with Darren James. Of course, always encourage you to get to the website, agent225.com, agent225.com. It's the most user-friendly website in real estate. You can find every home listed by every company all in one place. You can get a fair market value for your home if you're thinking about that. What is your home actually worth? Darren has it there for you at the website, agent225.com. Buying or selling, when you need a realtor, you need Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what we're working on for our stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A roller coaster ride over the last 24 hours in the case of juvenile offenders at Angola. Those teenagers are no longer housed in the old Angola death row building. The move comes despite the Court of Appeals ruling against a federal judge's decision to shut it down. That announcement to move the teens to Jackson Parish came as advocates were protesting earlier today. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water, they can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines, or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camp.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Wrapping up hour number one. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Theriot will be in studio on a Football Friday. We do have our celebrity guest picker set, ready to roll to start off hour three. We'll get into that. We always do our Football Friday tailgate segment. Cobin's in studio with us from Chris's Specialty Foods, but you got to hang on for 1 second because Nick Saban's going to take the floor for a second, all right? So there's a guy named Pee-wee. Is this a guy? You've heard this?
I listened to it. Yes, I did.
He's from Grand Bay, Alabama.
Yeah.
They stopped doing call-ins on Brian Kelly's show, correct?
Yes.
Thank God.
They do it through like the app and everything now. You can still send in listener questions. Just
God bless
you can't call and talk to the head coach anymore.
Radio callers. Oh, do you think the former head coach threatening to throw someone in a hole in the bayou might have done it?
I think that could have been a factor. Sure, yeah.
Maybe a factor?
Yeah, probably a little factor there.
Dudes with fake names calling radio shows. Christ.
You don't think that guy's real name is Pee-wee?
Thank God we never did this. It was an ordinance the day we launched this station in 2010. We will never take phone calls from dudes with fake names ever. Ever. Like, it's such an awful, antiquated thing from a bygone era of sports radio when sports radio was nothing but an ancillary aside that was a niche product, and it's grown so much beyond that, which I'm very grateful for, but Christ almighty. So Nick Saban's doing a show where they still allow people to call up and talk to the coach. So some guy named Pee-wee calls Nick Saban's show. This is how it went.
Coach, how are you, sir?
Well, Pee-wee, I've been wanting to
Nick
talk to you all
Saban calling
week,
somebody
man.
Pee-wee.
We gotta firm up the pocket. We're setting too soft. We're getting pushed back in the middle. All right, everybody thinks we can't hold up against the blitz, but they're sacking us with 4-man rush, 1 3-man rush. Only 1 sack came off of a pressure, so I wanted to ask you what the hell's going on.
Well, I believe you covered it all right there, Coach.
Nick Saban called a man Pee-wee.
He did.
And then basically just told, in a subtle way, told Pee-wee why he's a moron.
Yes. He hit him with the eye and everything in the middle there. I mean, he went full saving on him.
Oh my goodness! All right, we know open for the tailgate segment. Okay.
It's coming.
Okay, the open for the tailgate segment is coming. For a lot of years, Jay Ducote was here and did the tailgate segment, and the open was that. So I guess we're refreshing the open. So Coben is here from Chris's Specialty Foods, as he is Fridays, to give us some tailgate tips. And look, road games, so a lot of people might be home gating for LSU. By the way, man, thank you for coming in, by the way, as always.
Absolutely.
Well, let's get you a little closer to the mic. There we go. With an 11 a.m. start, what do you recommend people do? I mean, you're not going to eat lunch, I don't think, at 11 a.m., but what do you do on an 11 a.m. kickoff?
Yeah, so typically what I like to do is like more of the platter appetizer style. Like you said, you're not going to be starving at 11 a.m., so just like finger foods and pick foods is my go-to on such an early kickoff.
Okay, so that's what you brought here, right? So we got a platter. Walk us through what we got here. It looks like sausage, but what is everything?
Yeah, so we got smoked boudin. We have our jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage.
All right, hold on. Go one at a time. Walk me through smoked boudin.
Yep, so that's the smoked boudin. It's our regular pork boudin that we put on the smoker for about an hour.
Ooh.
And then that's our smoked jalapeno cheddar sausage. It's a pork sausage stuffed with jalapenos and cheddar cheese smoked. And then this is our original smoked pork sausage. And then over there is our brisket that we already have smoked and barbecue sauce already ready to go. You just have to heat it up.
So this is brisket.
Yes.
So this isn't sausage. This is sliced brisket.
Yes.
All right. You're going to need to talk while I eat some of this brisket for a second here.
Yeah. So
do your best and tell me about the sauces as well. So this is brisket that you just sliced?
Yeah. So like our brisket is we smoke it for 8 hours.
Oh my God, dude, that is so tender.
Yeah, we make it pretty tender. So we smoke it.
Oh my God.
4 hours unwrapped, and then wrap it with. What makes it so tender is we pour apple juice on it, and that acidity eats it up, and it makes it very, very tender.
Dude, that is incredible.
Thank you.
So is that really just the difference? Is the apple juice?
Yeah, I love. Anytime I'm smoking a meat for long periods of time, I always wrap it with apple juice. I think it makes a big difference.
So how would you do, like, if someone's maybe going to fire up their smoker tomorrow? Walk me through, like, if someone wants to get a brisket and smoke it at home, what would you tell them what to do?
Yeah, so like you said, 11 a.m. would be a very tough time to do a brisket because it takes 8 hours. So we make it very easy for you. So our brisket's already smoked and it's in boil bag. So all you have to do is drop that bag in boiling water for 15 minutes, cut it open, and you have hot sliced brisket right there.
Y'all are done.
Ready to go.
What if someone wants to do it themselves? Like, let's say hypothetically so you can always go to Chris's, go grab that's what I would do. I would go get in the bowl bag, 15 minutes, we're done. I'm not fooling with an 8-hour smoker process. I'm committed to eating it. I'm not committed to preparing it. If someone else wants to spend their time preparing it, Chris's, I'm all down for it. But if someone listening wants to, like, they go buy a brisket, they're going to try it this weekend, put it on the smoker, walk me through how, like, what preparation instructions.
Yeah, so I would put it on probably tonight around midnight, let it go all night. You'd have to wake up halfway through. And like I said, the most important step is I do like 225, 250 for 8 hours. And halfway through, take off the briskets, wrap them, and then, like I said, pour the apple juice
What do you wrap them in?
Tinfoil.
So you just wrap the brisket in foil and you put apple juice in the foil?
Yeah.
How much apple juice does
you can do butcher paper or tinfoil. And not a lot of apple juice. I mean, you don't want it soaking, but just pour it over. Once it's fully covered, it's ready to go. Wrap it back up and stick it back in.
Man, by the way, last week, how did the boudin king cakes do?
It was good. Tressie won. We sold out.
So they had so Coben and Tressie had a bet. When Coben was here last week, he brought in a boudin king cake, which is exactly what it sounds. It's a king cake, but it's stuffed with their boudin, which is incredible. And he and Tressie had a bet as to whether or not they would sell out the boudin king cakes. And when you told me y'all only made like 47 or so among all the stores, I'm like, brother, those are going to be gone by the time you finish the segment. So I had no doubt that they were going to be gone, but I'm glad they did. Chris's Specialty Foods. You can go online to chrisspecialtyfoods.com. So it's back-to-back S's, chrisspecialtyfoods.com. They'll ship to your door, and the locations are Baton Rouge, got Millerville, Prairieville, Airline Highway in Prairieville. And so if you're going south on Airline, you go into Prairieville, it's on the right. You came in, it's just past the Walmart. And then Lakeview in New Orleans, of course. So for our New Orleans folks, I'm actually heading down to New Orleans. I'm getting off the air tonight. I'm going to go see Dave Chappelle in New Orleans.
Oh,
I'm pretty excited about
gonna
it.
be funny.
So, I'm going, and it's weird too because I'm going solo because Erica, we couldn't find someone to watch Drew, our little boy. So she's like, just go.
Is it at the Smoothie King?
It's at Smoothie King Center. So I'm getting off air at 6. I'm jetting down. So, but I don't think I'm going to have time to stop into Chris's in Lakeview. Maybe I'll hit you up on airline tomorrow. ChrisSpecialtyFoods.com. ChrisSpecialtyFoods.com. Get on by. Get you. And by the way, the platters like what you made. Can people call and order this platter like this already done?
Absolutely. So we have set platters that are already done, or you can look at the items online and make a specialty platter, whatever you'd like.
What are the sauces? What are the dipping sauces?
So we have a spicy mustard, a Cajun aioli, and a garlic barbecue.
Do you recommend a specific sauce for different meat, or is it just, hey man, whatever your flavor, it would pair with any of them?
Yeah, typically the mustard and the barbecue is for the sausages and the brisket, and then the boudin I think is pretty good in the Cajun aioli.
Incredible, man. Great stuff as always. All right, before you go, we got less than a minute. LSU-Mississippi State, give me your thoughts.
I'm going to go 38-20 LSU.
Okay.
I think Mississippi State is known for running the ball. I think we'll have tough times at first. I think we'll make good halftime adjustments, and I think LSU will stop the run in the second half.
Coben Leindecker from Chris's Specialty Foods, good enough to hang out with us here. Theriot coming up right after the top of the hour. Thanks for coming in, man. Always Absolutely. Good to see you. We appreciate it. Make sure you get by Chris's and get your meats for this weekend. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break, top of the hour, get you caught up on national headlines from SportsCenter. When we come back, the right radio hours, our guest picker, 1 hour and 5 minutes from right now. You will want to be here for this. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. Was there earlier today. Tell you all the time about hormone replacement therapy, the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. If you want to feel like your younger self, this is a way to do it. As we age, and all of us age differently, our body produces less of the hormones that contribute to how we feel. So, do you sleep well at night? Do you wake up re-energized? How's your love life? Do you struggle to build muscle, burn fat, motivation to get in the gym? If you get to the gym, do you actually see results? There's so many things that hormone replacement therapy could help improve your quality of life. And so often, I can tell you this from experience, so often, you don't know how bad you feel until you start feeling good again. And once you do, you will never go back. Simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. Learn more online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on select new 23 Ford F-150 trucks. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
Scooncha fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there in the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. all of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of Front to Back Boat Service.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Travis Kelce and Chris Jones are both planning to play Sunday against the Jaguars. Kelce missed the opener with a hyperextended right knee. Jones was holding out for a new contract. Aaron Rodgers isn't leaving much doubt about his intention to get back on the field for the Jets after he recovers from a torn Achilles.
There's a lot of different ideas about the overall length of the rehab. I think what I'd like to say is just because somebody hasn't ever done it a certain way doesn't mean it's not possible. Definitely some odds stacked against me based on age, but I like it. Stack all the odds up against me and see what happens.
Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee Show. Rodgers turns 40 in early December. Chargers running back Austin Eckler is doubtful for Sunday's game against the Titans. He has an ankle injury. Raiders wideout Jacoby Myers out for Sunday's game against the Bills. He's still in concussion protocol. ESPN's Dave McMenamin reports Jared Vanderbilt will get a 4-year, $48 million contract with the Lakers. Vanderbilt came to the team in a trade deadline deal from the Jazz.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
It's that Louisiana boy, yeah, they call him the Riot. Born and raised in the swamps, on the fight like a tiger. He going beast mode, baby, he a beast though. What you think he supposed to do? You pitch a better reload.
After further review, the Riot Radio Hour with Matt Moscona and Ryan Theriot. Presented by Alpha Customs. Alpha Customs, Prairieville and Lafayette. And online at alphacustoms.net.
Well, how's your week going?
Week was good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, good. I'm full of good ideas.
Here comes Theriot. The throw, not in time. Scudero delivers, and the Giants lead 4-3 in the 10th.
The wave pool, although probably full of bacteria, flesh-eating parasites, and the occasional turd, provides endless hours of fun. It's not cool to have a 30A sticker on the back of your grocery go-getter. Big fan of the truck.
The Riot Radio Hour.
Theriot rounds third. He heads for home. Here's the throw. He is safe. Packers win. Packers win. Go.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. I'm Matt. Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Theriot. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there. Make it a good one. Yeah, bruh.
Yo, bruh.
How are you?
Great.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So you got a little water on this. What happened? The sink there in the bathroom attacked you?
Nope. I was just standing. I was stuck outside.
Oh, you were stuck outside. That's
Stuck
weird,
outside.
considering went to great lengths to get you a key card several months ago.
Yep.
To much hullabaloo. But where's your key card?
Key card has been misplaced.
Oh, Oh, you lost the key card that you bothered me for years to get you.
I wouldn't say lost yet.
Really?
I really haven't tried to look for it, like really hard look for it.
Got a wallet?
It's been misplaced.
You got a wallet?
I do.
Why didn't your wallet?
Yeah, I don't know. I've misplaced it.
Yeah.
I've misplaced the key card.
I got news for you.
Okay. I mean, I'm not asking for another one.
I got news for you, Coach. Ain't happening.
And I getting another one. I'm not
No, you're
asking
not.
for one. No, I mean, look, I misplaced it.
This is like this how you got to treat your kid.
I get it.
Kid's like, Dad. What would Houston say that he did that, like, and he would have to want to replace? Dad, I lost. What would he lose?
His phone.
Dad, I lost my phone. What are you going to do? We kind of have to get him another phone.
Nowadays,
you have to have a phone. Dad, I lost my AirPods.
AirPods.
Will you buy me some more? No.
No,
I'm not. Not buying you more AirPods.
I would say you can go earn some money and buy your own.
Yeah.
So is there a scenario in which I could replace this key card? I could go. What was the nice lady's name downstairs that I went and got it from last time?
Oh, Danielle, HR.
Okay.
No, I'm going to tell her strict instructions. No.
Oh, come on.
No.
People make mistakes. People lose things all the time.
Absolutely
It
not.
happens.
Absolutely not.
Hmm.
If it were like,
that's rough.
If it were 10 years and you misplaced your key card, that's okay. Like, it hadn't been 10 months.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't.
Other than losing your key card, how was your week?
Man, the week was good.
Good.
Week's been real good. We had a victory last week
By the way,
that we can talk about a little bit.
you over here with your tablet again.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, you are just stepping on up. Aside from losing your key card.
I had some time at the office.
Okay.
And so I didn't finish this on two wheels turning on to government this time.
Usually, two wheels turn on the government. Usually, you're sitting like in the open. You're sitting there writing it as a note on your phone. If you ever go watch the open, if you're watching us on YouTube,
I'm
or
not
WTR,
texting.
Terrio ain't texting. He's finishing the letter as he sits right there. All right. Anyway, go ahead.
So I had some time. So I got a good one. This is something that's been kind of eating at me for a little while.
Okay.
May ruffle a few feathers, maybe not. People probably feel the same way I do. But I'm writing this letter to Coach Kelly, to Brian Kelly.
Oh.
Yep. So this is dear Brian Kelly.
BK.
When you were hired to be the head coach of the greatest college football team in America, I had my reservations, just being honest. I think it stemmed from the fact that I don't really like Notre Dame. And you most recently coached there. So it's very superficial and no big deal. I just had some reservations. At the time, I would have liked to have had someone that was a little bit more familiar with the SEC, maybe coached in the SEC. But the structure and discipline needed to lead our program at the time that you used to lead the Fighting Irish was something that I welcomed. You can't just get into Notre Dame. It's a tough school to get in. Academically, it's pretty good. And, so it's...
Yes, I do know.
Okay. You get it.
I get it.
So okay, this guy's gonna bring some structure. The program's a little wild. It's okay. Not quite the U in the 80s, but close, getting close. I'm happy to say that up to this point in your tenure here in Baton Rouge, you've done an amazing job. Not only overachieving in year one, but starting to stockpile talent in the trenches, which will no doubt pay off in the years to come. You are methodically creating a roster that will ensure continued success for us Tiger fans, and that's more than I can say for many of the SEC programs right now. Shout out Brian Kelly.
Bingo.
Yep.
SO. BK.
Okay, so now I'd like to get to the point of this letter. This run that we're currently on started many years ago with Coach Nick Saban. Nick was and is notoriously hard to play for, and he's hard to coach with. He expects the absolute best from everyone around him. If that means working through lunch and dinner breaks as a coach, then that's just what you do. It's safe to say that he's got a pretty big personality, and Nick demands respect. Yes. Saban won a title down here.
Yes, he did.
Les Miles was next.
Yes.
Les was a trip from day one. If you've ever listened to any interviews, you'd agree that Les Miles is on another planet most of the time.
Yeah, he kind of is. That's him, too.
He's not afraid to go off on a tangent when asked a question that has zero to do with the actual question. He'd eat grass, kick onside kicks for no reason, fake punts when it's the world's worst decision, and somehow it worked out most of the time.
Yeah.
The guy was the luckiest coach on the planet for a few years. Had a giant personality.
and he won a title. In came Coach O. Holy crap, Ed Orgeron was perfect. Rough and tough, awesome accent, recruited his butt off, was a movie star, never missed a bench day, and he partied his butt off. If you could create the perfect person to coach a football team in South Louisiana, it would be O. Unfortunately, success isn't always easy to handle, and we all know how that story ends, so we don't need to rehash it. All that being said, O had and has a huge personality, and he too won a title. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to need to see some more edge out of our football coach when leading the purple and gold. I'm not calling for an undisciplined team, but damn it, let's get a personal foul every now and then. A late hit on the quarterback early in the game, followed by some trash talk, is actually a good thing. And I'm okay with my D-line jumping off sides periodically because they overlaunched on energy drinks pregame, and all they want to do is destroy the quarterback. The players will always take the personality of their leader. In every scenario, that is true. We're watching it happen in Boulder right now. So I got a few ideas there, Matty boy, that I think we can help create an identity.
I'd love to hear them.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Put the Tigers on top.
Got my pen.
Okay, here's a few suggestions, so feel free to try them out, Brian, if you'd like.
Okay.
First off, Lil Boosie and Webby would love to be honorary captains for a game or two.
I think it's a great idea.
How cool would it be to have these two Baton Rouge legends meet at the 50-yard line for the coin toss? Maybe we could have the Trill fam perform the fourth quarter when calling Baton Rouge plays. That'd give us some edge, and your street cred would go through the roof. I think that's a great idea. Personally, that's probably where I would start. Here's another one. Kim Mulkey's the best-dressed college basketball coach on the planet. She got a designer called the Queen of Sparkles.
Yeah.
Designs her outfits for each game.
Yep.
Sometimes they're themed LSU, but not always. What about sparkly sports coats?
No.
Or maybe a pullover.
Well, but how about our guy Brad Duncan has done custom kicks.
Custom kicks from Brad Duncan.
Custom kicks for BK, and they're giving them, like, you can enter a giveaway to win Brian Kelly's shoes.
I'm not saying that it has to be bedazzled. Okay, the point in this is create your own style and create your own identity.
There it is.
Not a bad idea either. Not a bad take.
Check out BK right there. Guy's got a different sport coat for every day of the week too.
That's a brutal look.
Oh, come on.
It is. So this is what I would do. This is my last. This is probably the thing that I would do if I were him. I would change my name. Okay?
Okay.
We've had some great ones down here. The guy's name's Brian, for Christ's sake. Brian. We've had Skip. We've had Smoke. We've had Beetle and Turtle.
This is all baseball names,
We've had
so
O.
it doesn't count.
O.
Doesn't count. Bebe.
Bebe. Great. I actually liked the fake Southern accent and the goofy dancing. I thought it was kind of awesome. He abandoned that. I loved it. R.I.P. to the Pirate, but that's a badass nickname, right? Lane Kiffin's a 40-year-old frat guy. He's got an identity. Jimbo Fisher, the guy's name's Jimbo.
Yes.
It's pretty good.
How's that working out?
Brian ain't going to work. Brian. Hey, Brian.
Brian.
It's not going to work. We got to get better than that. We need some sort of mutant stuff from this guy. Like, I need something kind of just crazy that he needs to do to give us some sort of personality. Brian's not going to cut it for much longer. We had Pistol. That was good. We had Shaq. That was good.
Basketball.
We've got the best defensive player in America named Harold. His name's Harold Perkins. Harold. What are we doing?
Everybody calls him Perk.
Perk.
Yeah. Perk.
Harold. No offense to anyone named Harold. But that's brutal. The guy's nickname should clearly be Predator. 100%. Or as my good friends south of the border like to say, El Predator. He's got the dreads. He's super scary. He's fast. He appears out of nowhere to rip people's heads off. Why aren't we calling him the Predator? Harold. Brian. You got a wide receiver? You know what his name is? Brian. You want to go to the library, Brian?
My brother's name is Brian.
Hey, Harold, what book did you check out this week? You're not going to ask the Predator that. I love Garth Brooks. I've been to see him twice. The last 2 times he's been in Louisiana, I've gone. Colin Baton Rouge is played out. I might be pissing people off right here. Y'all might get mad at me. But when the fourth quarter comes, they play Colin Baton Rouge, and I look over and somebody's grandmother knows the lyrics. It's not a good song to get hyped to in the fourth quarter. It's just not. Needs to change. I don't know if it's Enter Sandman. Enter Sandman goes on in Virginia Tech. We can't do that. But we need something in the fourth quarter that has a little bit more edge to it, okay? What I'm asking to do here, Matt, isn't very hard. You just have to be willing to try some things out. Hell, I gave myself a nickname a couple weeks ago, Cricket, okay?
Yeah, how's that working?
The jury's still out. I don't know if it's good or not, if it's effective, but at least I'm trying to get something going. That's what Brian needs to do. This LSU football team needs an identity. Brian needs an identity. He needs a personality. He needs to get big. Do something. Doesn't win down here. Sincerely, Ryan. I just don't want the discipline. Oh, they play good football. They got good players. They're disciplined. No. I want somebody to get suspended for doing something stupid. I want a personal foul. I want some celebration stuff. I want the coach to, yell at somebody. That's what I need. We need that. That's what wins. That's what wins championships. How many personal fouls did Florida State have in the first quarter?
A lot.
Edge,
for sure.
Got no edge.
No edge.
We're Notre Dame.
AFR will continue.
AFR.
Brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com.
Got edge.
Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Hey, yesterday, the state announced the Fortified program, the Fortified Roofing Grant Program.
Yep.
So if you want to get more info, we can help. Got people on staff at Hudco that's their job. They deal with the insurance companies. They know all these answers. So if you're thinking about Fortified, if you've heard us talk about it, first of all, go to the website, HudcoRoofing.com. Hit the green Fortified tab, and you get all the info. There's a contact form right there on the homepage. Just fill it out. We'll have someone in touch with you promptly. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. That's me. That's this guy to my left. Hudco Roofing. The Fortified program, the grant program is here. Up to $10,000 in grants are available.
Just got to ask.
So learn more about it. Also, commercial buildings, silicone coating product. Half the cost of a roof replacement, 20-year warranty. Learn more. HudcoRoofing.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP or 2.9% for 72 months on all new 23 Ram 1500 trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Life in Louisiana is a song. A symphony of sound, colors, and movement. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction.
They be like, no, he didn't. Tattoos and fast cars, do you know who we are? I'm Lil Weezy, putting it down for them all. Every time I come around your city, bling, bling. Make it rain, word about anything, bling. Every time I buy a new ride, bling, bling. Lorenzo's on
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Oh, I heard BG.
BG's out. BG's out, bro.
What did he go in for?
I don't know. He was in for 11 years though.
Wow.
So it must have been something.
Pinky ring, word about fitting.
I know.
I love that line.
So glad he's out. I wonder if he's gonna drop some new stuff.
I would imagine so.
I hope so.
A lawsuit against Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. Did you hear about this?
No. Tell me.
I don't want to go into too many of the the details here, but there's an Ole Miss defensive tackle named DeSanto Rollins who's kicked off the team for missing practices and meetings during.
Is he from here?
I don't believe so. I don't know. During what he called a mental health crisis. So he's suing the university, saying they failed to provide equal protection, racial and sexual discrimination, and multiple other allegations. He's seeking $10 million in compensatory damages and $30 million in punitive damages. It's a long and sordid deal here, but apparently he and Kiffin ended up meeting on March 21st after he'd missed a bunch of calls and missed a bunch of practice, was ignoring Lane Kiffin's calls and didn't come in.
He's from here, Baton Rouge.
Where's he from?
Hold on.
All right, you look it up. Well, anyway, so he has this meeting with Lane Kiffin on March 21st, and he recorded, without Lane Kiffin's knowledge, their conversation. Apparently, this was legal. He legally recorded the conversation without Lane Kiffin's knowledge. And so the transcript was included in this lawsuit. And it's long. I don't want to read the whole thing, and there's expletives in it. But essentially, Lane Kiffin continues to say, like, regardless of what's going on, you don't get to not answer a phone call. Like, this is like in the real world. If you have a job and your boss is calling you and trying to get, like, you have to at least respond. You can't be unresponsive, essentially, is what happens. So, and listen, the language in the recorded phone call, Lane uses a bunch of F's and a P and an S and different stuff like that. But
P and an S?
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, I don't know how it's going to go. I mean, because the recording of that phone call is not great. But
not great for Ole Miss?
The whole situation at all. But, I mean, it looks terrible. But at the same time, I agree with what Lane Kiffin is saying. And by the way, I'm super, super on board with, like, mental health resources and understanding the importance and the severity and legitimacy of mental. And Lane Kiffin even says that, like, in this thing. He said during the audio exchange, Rollins is heard saying, I mean, you're acting like my issues aren't real. Lane says, quote, I didn't say they're not real. You show up when your boss wants to meet with you. It wouldn't have been like this. If you would have come here when you kept getting messages the head coach wants to talk to you, you say, I'm not ready to talk to him. And he says, I wasn't. And Lane said, what effing world do you live in? Rollins said, I don't see why you have to be disrespectful. And Kiffin said, get out of here. You're off the team. You're done. See ya. Go. And guess what? We can kick you off the team. So go read your effing rights about mental health. We can kick you off the team for not showing up. When the head coach asks to meet with you and you don't show up for weeks, we can remove you from the team. I feel like the way people would align themselves in that, like it's player against coach in that, if it's Kiffin or if it's Rollins, I think it's really just the perspective you come from. Like if you're an Ole Miss fan, you're going to line up behind your very popular coach. If you're that kid's family, you're going to line up behind your son who's dealing with son, brother, whoever,
friend,
who's dealing with mental health issues. So,
and look, I've seen this happen in from a professional standpoint, professional sports, we're not asking you to go perform, asking you just to have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like there was times where I felt like mentally, hey, I can't play today. I mean, I can remember going into Lou Pinellas, I'd be like, Skip, something's going on. I don't know what it is. Like I can't go. I don't know what it is. But you go in and you have the conversation and get some sort of sympathy there. These guys are human. Lane Kiffin's he understands, but you have to have that conversation. You have to respond to the coach. At least if you just freeze him out, of course he's going to be pissed.
I know. We'll follow it. That's a
lot of money, man.
It's a lot of money. It's a serious deal
Yeah.
as well. So especially the nature of the allegations. So we'll continue to follow it. All right, it's after further review. Brought to you by DraftKings, official sports betting partner of the NFL. Week 2 of the NFL is underway. Got started with Minnesota and Philadelphia on Thursday night as we head into this NFL weekend. Remember, if you're a new customer, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Make a $5 bet, and they will instantly give you $200 in bonus bets at the DraftKings Sportsbook. That's any NFL bet. It could be a side, it could be a total, it could be a futures bet, any NFL bet, and they'll give you any $5 NFL bet. They give you $200 in bonus bets instantly for new customers with the code Baton Rouge. Remember, every game day, all throughout the month of September, every game day, they'll have new great specials and offers and deals. So make sure you go to the app every game day and opt into those great specials at the DraftKings Sportsbook. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football. Terms. Licensed partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537. All right, and if you don't use DraftKings, then you can kick rocks.
It's time to Kick Rocks with Ryan Theriot.
Kick Rocks.
Presented by Ruckus. Kick Rocks with shoes from Ruckus. Jones Creek Road in Baton Rouge. Or go to ruckus103.com.
Tom Brady can kick rocks. That's a standing kick rocks, but this one's
a perpetual kick rock.
Kick Rocks.
Did you prepare?
Yeah. Okay, you can kick rocks for being a middle midget.
Kick rocks.
Costing your team 4 points.
They can kick a whole bag of rocks for that.
Get on down the road and kick rocks.
You ate a big old hamburger at lunch yesterday.
I know.
I was surprised. I was surprised to see you eat food again. You haven't eaten food in a long time.
I know, like real food.
I know.
I crushed it too. And
you lost like 50 pounds. You didn't have 50 pounds to lose.
About 40.
40 something, yeah.
And then the lady took it. She took the plate. I wasn't finished with it. She took, and I was a little pissed.
I don't blame you.
I was a little pissed. No, I crushed, bro.
Shout out Phil's. Went to Phil's yesterday for lunch.
Yeah, it was good, man. Good burger at Phil's. I've never had the burger at Phil's. Pretty good.
I had the harvest salad.
Yeah, the harvest salad looked really good.
With grilled shrimp on it. It's awesome. Give it a go.
Colorado State head coach Jay Norvell can kick rocks.
Kick rocks.
Kick rocks.
Yeah. Says, obviously talking about Coach Prime wearing his sunglasses and his hat.
Yeah.
Took a little jab. Says, when I talk to grown-ups, I take my hat and glasses off. Which is kind of disrespectful. And then he says, to make it worse, that's what my mother taught me. Kind of taking a jab at Prime's mom.
Mm-hmm. He made it personal.
He did. And Colorado was going to beat the crap out of CSU regardless. And now they're really going to. But the problem I have with this is the guy's done, Dion has done an amazing job at Colorado bringing some attention there. He's brought some good players. They beat a really good team week 1 and decent Nebraska team week 2. And look, they're going to do well. You've had a couple coaches go after him. Talking about the transfer portal. Was that Rule talking about the transfer portal? And then Jay talking about the glasses and the hat. I think it's immature. Coaches on coaches stuff. I think you leave that alone. Okay, this is Prime.
I'm here for it.
And he's done a good job.
I'm here for all of it.
I think yeah, you do like that.
I love that stuff.
Yeah, you do like that.
Please be entertaining. You don't think this is great for college football? It's amazing for college football. You got a game between Colorado and Colorado State. It's a 23-point spread. Game day and big noon kickoff are there. And we're in Baton Rouge before LSU's SEC opener, and we're talking about it. By the way, did you see what he did?
Coach Prime got his whole team glasses.
Check this out if you haven't seen it yet. So Prime is up there, team meeting in front of the whole team today, and he's bringing it up about what Norvell said, Jay Norvell. He got his whole team sunglasses. So the trainers walk in with these boxes with glasses in them. How about that? Gave everybody on the team these shades.
Are they going to wear those on the sidelines?
They've got to.
They have
at
to,
some
right?
point in the game. I mean, if it's before the game, after the game, whatever, like they got to break those out. That's pretty awesome. I love it. Go Buffs.
He's him.
Let's go Buffs.
Yep. So Aaron Rodgers, 4 plays into his home opener, blows his Achilles.
Yeah.
Which really
saw that.
stinks.
Yeah.
I like Aaron Rodgers. I think he's a hell of a quarterback. And, And it really sucks trying to make a comeback. The Jets are actually pretty good. Pretty good team. And, of course, the general consensus amongst NFL players was field turf's got to go. We've been hearing this for the last, 8 years, 10 years. These players complaining about the field turf. And there was a good point that was brought up. I can't remember the player's name, but he said, you don't see them play in the World Cup or any of these big major soccer games on turf because the risk of injury goes up tremendously. So why are we playing?
Aren't they the World Cup that's coming to the U.S., they're going to play at the Meadowlands, at MetLife.
I don't think they're going to play on. I don't know that they. I don't think they play on turf, man. These dudes ain't playing on turf. I would be shocked.
Yeah, they're hosting MetLife Stadium. That very stadium is hosting the World Cup in 2026.
With grass or turf or field turf?
They have field turf in there. They're not pulling up that. They're
maybe.
not.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if they are or if they aren't. But anyway, regardless of whether they do or they don't, I've never seen a professional soccer match played on field turf. It's always played on natural grass. But it is a fair point, and it's definitely something to be talked about. Is it worth it, right? I played on turf quite a bit. I don't know how much you played on turf, but I played on turf quite a bit.
The U.S. hosted the Men's World Cup in 1994 at Giant Stadium. Same place, the opening match. The Women's FIFA World Cup in 1999, that was turf.
On turf?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I don't know if they do or how much they do, but regardless, the point was well taken. And look, I kind of agree. I think playing those games on turf, if you can attribute those injuries to the turf, you should definitely do something about it. So I'm gonna tell field turf to kick rocks.
Kick rocks.
Cotillion can kick rocks.
Okay.
Kick rocks.
Whatever happened to school dances, where we just went in the cafeteria or the auditorium, and you had a school dance where the janitor was the DJ, and they made some circles around, and people were dancing. Like
whoever gets in the middle, and
I've got no
boogie.
interest.
Shout.
I'm just trying to think of Ryan as a middle school or high schooler. Like, I don't want to go to a party with kids from other schools organized by moms with too much time on their hands at the River Center, okay? At the River Center, where they host like big stuff. If Zachary Central, Denham Springs, Walker, and Live Oak had a cotillion, which they don't, by the way, because that's the real world, it would just be a giant fight the whole time, which it should be. Okay? If Santa Ma, Dutchtown, and EA had a cotillion in Ascension,
oh, it's going down for real.
They're scrapping the whole time.
Wait till the new Prairieville High opens up.
As they should.
Get that in the mix as well.
I don't get these kids. Baton Rouge
It's
kids
like the
are soft.
Greasers against the Socias.
It should be. That's the fun part. Broadmoor's fighting kids from Terra. That's just what we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
I mean,
let's do it.
It's part of it. I do have a hug to give, if I can. I'm gonna
love to hear your hug.
This is and you're gonna like this one because you spent a lot of time out there. The Miracle League out at Traction Cypress Mounds.
Yes.
I want to give a hug to the Politos and the organizers of the Miracle League. I also want to give a hug to LSU baseball, softball, and then now LSU women's basketball. They were there this week, yesterday, day before yesterday, at the Miracle League field, participating, helping, having fun. What's the girl that raps? What's her name?
Flauget.
Flauget was pitching, doing a
Awesome.
great job. It was I would like to give a hug to the Miracle League for doing everything that they do for Baton Rouge and our community, and those kids enjoy it, and it's a blast. And then also LSU for being a part of it. Very, very well done.
That's it?
That's it.
All right, it's After Further Review. Kick Rocks brought to you by Ruckus. Ruckus103.com. RUKUS. Ruckus103.com. They got a Lafayette location, so shout out to our folks listening on ESPN 103.7 in Lafayette.
I got those.
Downtown Lafayette, the Air Max ones.
The Olympics.
The Olympics. That's the OGs right there. Check them out, dude. They look great. You can go to ruckus103.com. You can shop online. Oh, look at those. These dunks. The women low dunks right there, the hemp sale. Those are new. I love these. Like, I would wear those. I think that's a cool look.
It is a
It's
good
a good color.
Uh-huh.
Some of them, like, I don't know why that's got to be gender exclusive. Like, but they don't have the size. That's the problem. They wouldn't have my size.
You'd have like a 16.
In women's. And
women's.
I'm a men's 13. So anyway, go to ruckus103.com or pop in and see our friends over at Ruckus. Get some new kicks. Get some Ruckus gear. It's there for you. They're the best. They're Ruckus. Ruckus103.com. Follow them on social. Whenever they have drops, they alert you as to how you can participate. Ruckus103.com. All right, it's after further review. When we come back, let's jump into the Saints injury report for today. We'll get you an update on that. Saints Monday Night Football, of course, against Carolina. We'll do Ask Ryan in about 12 minutes from right now. So if you got questions for Theriot, ask him anything about anything. Get your questions in. Fire away. And our celebrity guest picker in 26 minutes. You did a great job with the celebrity guest picker today.
Thank you.
Good job.
Worked hard.
Good job, Big Bad Rye Guy.
Worked hard on it.
And by worked hard on it, you texted me this morning and was like, I'm going to pick her. I don't have guest picker. But I took care of it.
My guy. Came through.
Came through in a big way. I'm fired up about this one. I'm fired up about this one.
This is your favorite. He's your favorite.
I love it.
He's your favorite. You got to get him going, too.
Oh, God. You don't have to do anything to get this guy going. He just wakes up in the morning going. Okay, it's AFR. Stay here.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. They got all the decor, pumpkins, hay bales, squash, gourds, scarecrows.
Gourds?
They got
Get out.
They got them all. Stop it. It looks awesome, though, man. Have you seen their displays at the stores? They look so good. Clegg's Nursery. They also, of course, at Clegg's have your fall plants there. Your fruit trees. This is the time of year. I don't know if you knew this. This is the time of year that you plant citrus trees or fruit trees. So if you want your citrus trees or
apples, I like apple trees.
All those trees. This is the time of year to plant. So go check out Clegg's Nursery. They have got an amazing display inside and outside of all their fall stuff. So if you check out their Facebook page, you can see the pictures. Look at all the stuff they got. It's incredible. You want your earth tones, your browns, your yellows, your greens, all that sort of stuff. They got you at Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations, Segan Air Airline, LA6, look at that, LA16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. It's Clegg's Nursery.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Scoocha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there in the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Make this summer your backyard party year with Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, brisket, steak, and boudin, plus great Cajun side dishes. We do all the prep, and you enjoy laughing with friends and family. Chris's Specialty Foods, Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on select new 23 Ford F-150 trucks. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan.
You ain't never had, yeah. Swerve on him for your daddy in the pen, yeah. Swerve on him, acting bad off that gym, what? Swerve on him, hit his block and act again. Swerve on him, you might catch me.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Hey, remember, as soon as the game goes final, LSU-Mississippi State, T-Bob and I will be live at Don Juan Cigar Bar for Whiskey and Wine. Y'all come join us in Town Center. Game's on the road. So
why wouldn't you?
Pretty good excuse to just come hang out, watch the game at Don Juan. They're going to open up at 11. You can watch the game at Don Juan, have some cocktails, some beers, whatever, smoke a cigar, and we'll hang out for Whiskey and Wine for 90 minutes as soon as the game goes final, LSU and Mississippi State. I'm excited about it tomorrow. We're going to find out a lot about this LSU team. Any reservations considering what Brian Kelly said about the injuries to Omar Spates and Mason Taylor?
So who's out? Spates and Taylor?
Don't know yet. Okay. He said Taylor is questionable, Spates doubtful.
Neither one of those really bother me a whole lot. I mean, Mason Taylor, obviously, because he's a hell of a player and a weapon.
Mason Taylor!
In the pass game. The Spates, I mean, I don't know. Do we have depth in linebackers? Are we any good there? What's his name? Harold Perkins. The Predator's not playing linebacker anymore. He's doing this other thing now.
Right, they're not moving him back there. So
yeah,
we'll see. They don't have great numbers, but should be okay in this game. Saints play on Monday Night Football against Carolina Panthers. The latest injury report is out, so I'll just run through it really quickly. And it's mostly good news here, by the way. So some veterans that kind of always get their rest day. Ryan Ramczyk, Jimmy Graham got their rest day on Thursday. Both were full participants Friday, along with Juwan Johnson, who's listed with a calf injury. So Ramczyk, Jimmy Graham, Juwan Johnson were all full on Friday. J.T. Gray and Kendre Miller were both limited. So the good news for Kendre Miller is that he's back at practice while limited, and they were practicing today at the indoor. And you could see Kendre Miller had a big brace on his knee. I believe Nick Underhill had the video. If you go to Nick's Twitter, I'm sure there's a lot of them who had the video of Kendre Miller running at practice with a brace on his knee. But looks like he might be able to try to give it a go on Monday Night Football. He's at least out there. Because if you get to typically Friday, now again, that's for a Sunday game, but if you get to Friday in a typical week and you're still not participating in practice, you're likely not going to play. So the fact that Miller was out there limited both Thursday and Friday tells you he's trending toward playing in some role on Sunday or on Monday. At least we would hope so. As for Carolina, J.C. Horn with the hamstring injury, he's out for this game, and he's likely going to be headed to IR. DJ Chark's still out with a hamstring injury. He was limited. Taylor Moton with a bicep injury, also limited. So we'll see if and by the way, Carolina, their injury report from Friday was an estimation. They did not have a practice today. They just did a walkthrough. So had they practiced today, that would have been the injury report. So we'll see if DJ Chark is able to go against the Saints. Would certainly help bolster Bryce Young's weapons in that pass offense at home with Saints coming in. They're really good defense. So Saints want to know. You had them last week.
Yeah.
I didn't.
15 more. 15 more, baby.
16.
Isn't that it? 16? They play 17 now?
Yes.
16 more.
Noted NFL aficionado Ryan Theriot here.
Yeah, I mean, they used to play 16, though, right?
They did, yes.
When did they add the other one? Last year?
A couple years ago, yes. Yeah. So now they're at 17. So it's a little odd because you got to do the math differently. You'd always think in your head, you're 14-3, 12-4, 13-3.
Yeah. It's a little different. It's odd.
7-9.
Yeah, however you want to do it.
But now it's not.
Yeah.
Now it'd be like 7-10.
Yeah, it's weird. It's different.
It's math.
It's digital, too.
It's not digital. Do we need to talk about your we probably should at least mention this. By the way, our guest picker's coming up in 17 minutes, and we will get to Ask Ryan coming up after this break. So if you would get your questions in for Terry, you could email us, you could tweet us, you could jump in the Buy Ford YouTube chat, you could text 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. I'm trying to find what I sent you the other day about your nickname.
Let's see.
So Theriot gave himself a nickname.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to discuss your nickname, please, while I find this?
A cricket. Yeah. I've been searching, thinking about a nickname.
Got it.
Yeah, I need a nickname. I wanted it to either be an insect or like an animal.
So Theriot decided that he was going to give himself a nickname, and the nickname he chose to give himself was Cricket.
Cricket.
There's no one alive that's going to call you Cricket. Well,
I've got a couple people that do.
No. So there's a gentleman who made a T-shirt design because you said you want to run for mayor.
Yeah, I'm considering throwing my name in the hat for mayor of Baton Rouge.
So you run for mayor in 2024 under the name Cricket.
Ryan Cricket Theriot.
Ryan Cricket Theriot.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what you'll do. So,
and if I've known you for a while, you call me Lil Cricket.
No. Lil Cricket would only be, no, that doesn't work. Lil Cricket would only be like if there's a big cricket, like if your dad was Cricket and you were Little Cricket.
Well,
that's how that would work.
If they knew me when I was when I was young, you know what I mean? Lil Cricket.
No. So anyway, Brandon Broussard decided to make a T-shirt design. I will tweet this out and share it for everybody who's not watching us live right now. But it's a T-shirt design that says, it's digital. Either you vote for Cricket or you don't. Mayor 2024. And there is a cricket with Ryan Theriot's head superimposed on the cricket's body.
It's pretty sharp, man. I like that.
I hate the fact that people are actually playing into this stupidity. I will never call you Cricket. Nobody will or should ever call you Cricket.
There's a few that are calling me that. And we had one, what was it, Fricket, vote for Cricket?
Fricket, vote for Cricket.
That was a good one.
That was a slogan.
That would look great on a bumper sticker.
Except nobody knows who Cricket is. And you're never going to be called Cricket.
Well, that's why we got
Most people have a nickname, have their nickname their entire life. You do not have a nickname, and no one's going to call you Cricket.
I mean, how many years do you have to have a nickname in order for it to stick? You know what I'm saying? I still got some years left.
I don't know. It's digital.
Well played. Fair enough.
It's after further review. We'll do Ask Ryan next.
AFR.
We're not doing Ask Cricket.
See, that's how you get it started.
No.
Stuff like that.
We're brought to you by the Renaissance Hotel and the Watermark Hotel. Two amazing hotel properties in Baton Rouge that would love to host your next event, whatever that event may be. The Renaissance is on Bluebonnet near I-10 across from the Mall of Louisiana. Call Allison Crump over at the Renaissance. Whatever event it is that you're planning, she'd love to help. They say at the Renaissance, we're in the business of saying yes. So if it's a wedding reception, they can help. If you have a board meeting for a dozen people or so, they can help. Elegant, luxurious boardrooms for your meetings with all the technology that you would need built in. It's all there for you. If you're having a fundraiser, if you're having an awards banquet, they can help at the Renaissance Hotel. It's the home of LSU football the night before every home game. The Tigers stay at the Renaissance. You know how many meeting rooms that they have at the Renaissance for all their position group meetings and their team meals? They can host the Tigers. They can host you as well. It's the Renaissance Hotel in Baton Rouge. The Renaissance Hotel.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what we're working on for our stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A roller coaster ride over the last 24 hours in the case of juvenile offenders at Angola. Those teenagers are no longer housed in the old Angola death row building. The move comes despite the Court of Appeals ruling against a federal judge's decision to shut it down. That announcement to move the teens to Jackson Parish came as advocates were protesting earlier today. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Officially, it's a fridge full of beer. Unofficially, it's free AC. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The importance of doing this Fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the Fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a Fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before.
Nah, this ain't none of that smooth. Tell them fools get blues quick, my. This is gangsta music, guns, money, and drugs. Man,
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Let's do it. Let's get to Ask Ryan, our guest picker, in less than, we're right about 10 minutes. Our guest picker will join us. Looking forward to this. Am I looking forward to our guest picker?
Oh, yeah.
Ask Ryan. This is from Brian Williams. Since you crushed the name Brian.
Brian.
Ask Ryan, what species of cricket are you?
I don't even know what he's talking about. I'm the brown crickets that catch fish. That's what I am. You can buy at Ace Hardware.
Chris Burke said that was the worst letter ever. You got to get better. And then said, ask Cricket, what are your campaign promises, Cricket?
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that probably next week on platforms.
Okay.
And
we're going to go deep dive into your platform.
We'll deep dive into the platforms next week. Yeah.
How do you feel on crime?
Yeah, I'm you know, that's where we're going to start.
Yeah.
Obviously.
What about roads?
They're not great.
Yeah.
And
what are you going to do to fix our schools?
It can only get better.
What about the Baton Rouge economy?
Yeah, all the above.
Great, thanks.
We're going to start with crime.
That sounds like you've given a lot of thought.
We're going to lock them up.
Ready to rock.
Locking them up, baby.
Got it. TK asked Ryan, my Uncle Jerry wants to know, what do you think about football games being played on memory foam?
Took a picture. I was eating lunch the other day at Cracker Barrel. Took a picture of some Werther's Originals that I sent to you.
You did.
You love that.
You did.
Cracker Barrel's great, man. It's like a field trip. I mean, it really is. Dude, I walked through there like, this place is awesome, man. It really is good. It's a good spot.
The big oversized checkerboards.
Big checkerboards.
You sit in your rocking chair while you're waiting an hour to get a biscuit and bacon.
You got to dump like salt and Tony's on everything because the food's so bland. Because if you can't eat there unless you're 70, that's the thing.
Greg Lehman asked Ryan, man, how about that cold front? Am I right?
Feels great outside. It really does.
Eric Gotro asked Ryan, what's your favorite type of po' boy?
Grilled shrimp. Po' boy is probably my favorite.
We'll get to more questions. Of course, the Right Radio Hour brought to you by Alpha Customs. Tell us about Alpha Customs there.
Alpha Customs is located. They got 2 locations. We got one in Prairieville over there on Airline Highway. Really cool spot. And then also in Lafayette, if you're looking for suspension lift.
Yeah.
Some wheels.
Yeah.
For that suspension lift, aftermarket wheels, some tires.
Yeah.
If you want to get your windows tinted, you can do it all at Alpha Customs. Go to alphacustoms.net and check out some of their recent builds. Got some really cool trucks that they're showing off over there. The Zone Radius Super Lift is what I put on my vehicles. They got the Super Lifts over there.
Lift. Great.
At Alpha Customs.
That's the one where you need a ladder to get into your vehicle?
You can. I mean, depends on how high you go with it. But go check them out at Alpha Customs. They'll do you right. AlphaCustoms.net.
Ask Ryan, Emil Ray says, ask Ryan, can you give a shout out to Carter on his way to baseball practice?
Yeah, man. S.O. Carter.
Go get him, Carter.
Swing hard in case you hit it.
Like Greg Lane asked Ryan, what type of blocks did Ryan install on the pedals for new truck to reach? Wife needs them in new vehicle.
It's not funny. Who said that? That was stupid.
Greg Lane.
Yeah,
what does that mean?
That was dumb, Greg.
Couple blocks to install on the pedals?
It's a short joke.
Oh.
An attempt at one.
Joshua Abshire says, chirp, chirp for cricket.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Tybris Hertz said, does Mayor Cricket just not care for football or just likes to troll our favorite teams?
How do I troll team? I don't know what he's talking about. I love football. Who's your favorite team?
Nathan Hodge asked Ryan, did Ryan see the 2024 LSU baseball schedule? Thoughts?
I haven't seen it yet.
LSU plays at Tennessee, at Arkansas, home against Vandy, home against Florida. Play that Astros Foundation Classic in Houston again this year. Play at Rice in the midweek before that Houston trip. Good schedule. Evans Cabin asked Ryan, what's your favorite number you wore in your career?
Probably 3. I like that. It's a good number. 7's a good number. 2. I had a lot of numbers. 55 was my least favorite.
Kevin Gotro asked Ryan, cricket, what is your favorite start time for an LSU football game? 11, 2:30, or night game?
Got to be a night game. You see, people are addressing me as cricket. It's happening.
Chase Smith asked cricket, favorite fish to eat?
Ask cricket. You see that? Grouper for sure. Big grouper sandwich guy right here.
All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Our celebrity guest picker is coming up right after Sports Center.
AFR.
Brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. Michelli.com. That's where you'll find them online, Michelli.com. Love telling you about Michelli because of all the great work that they do for companies all across the country. It's pretty cool when you have a business that was born in New Orleans, is 76 years old, has maintained its roots, is still headquartered in New Orleans, and now has 31 offices across 11 different states, but they still love to do business with a handshake and a smile face-to-face. That's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. They have on-site calibration options, so if you have equipment that you don't want to leave your facility or can't leave your facility, and then if you have devices that need to be calibrated, don't ship them to Chicago or another place. Like, why would you pack them up, have the expense of shipping, waiting for them to be calibrated and sent back? Just call Michelli. They'll even come by your office, pick them up, bring it back to their lab, calibrate it, return to you. What might take weeks with other companies takes days with Michelli. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. Michelli.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP or 2.9% for 72 months on all new 23 Ram 1500 trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Life in Louisiana is like a run-on sentence. A poem that doesn't rhyme. Life is here, now. for life's moments, big and small. Always there. The right card, the right care.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Barring any setbacks, Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce and defensive lineman Chris Jones will both play Sunday against the Jaguars. Both missed the opener, Kelce with a hyperextended right knee and Jones was holding out. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Eagles corner Avonte Maddox could miss the rest of the season with a torn pectoral muscle. Maddox is waiting to get a second opinion. 18th ranked Colorado hosting Colorado State tomorrow night in Boulder, 10 Eastern on ESPN. The Buffs 2-0 and opening a lot of eyes under new coach Deion Sanders.
We have a wonderful plan. We have wonderful support staff. The coaching staff is impeccable. And the kids that we went out there and targeted to come, as well as the ones we brought in, we just believe. Regardless of the noise, regardless of the naysayers, we truly believe in what's inside that locker room.
Deion Sanders on First Take. ESPN's Chris Lowe reports Alabama could be making a change at quarterback. Expected Tyler Buckner will start tomorrow's game at South Florida.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right. You can't handle the
Riot Radio Hour.
Let's do that again. Guess who's back? Back again.
Lisa, I want some more.
The Riot Radio Hour, presented by ProCharge EV. Call 225-397-4593 or go to ProChargeEV.com.
Well, let's start the insanity. Giddy up.
Let me find out that ain't your real
Hour
booty.
3 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. And Matt?
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill? Nope, that's the wrong one.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Eustace, our celebrity guest picker. Have you in a tizzy over there? Okay, it's radio. Don't worry about it.
Well, I thought we would just
Musa.
keep rolling there.
We're good. Musa. Yeah, good. And Theriot. All right. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock, quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. I'm excited. One more hour to go. I'm heading down to NOLA to go watch Chappelle tonight. Fired up for it. But I am a little confused because it's all e-tickets, but they said, like, you can't bring your phone into the show, so I don't know what to do.
You can't bring your phone?
That's what they said. They don't want you to record the show. Anyway, maybe I'll ask our guest picker about that before we pick these games. Let's meet him.
Hey, Vikings been doing this since the beginning of time. Real-life Vikings on boats from village to village, taking all the food and your women.
There was a time where Mississippi State ruled the SEC. The South remembers because Fred Smoot was there.
On a scale of 1 to 10, Coach Zorn's pre-game speeches were literally a 1.
So it ended up being a limo train of around 27 limos and limo buses. You would have thought the president was moving at this time. These girls, of course they were strippers, let's be honest about this.
And at the end of the day, let's be honest, ever since Joe Flacco, that's what I call Joe Flacco, ever since Joe Flacco got his contract and went to McDonald's, he's not been the same. All right, at the end of the day, and it's not like he's a bad quarterback, he just doesn't care. He plays with that arrogance that Jeff George plays with.
The one, the only, the incomparable Fred Smoot rejoins us on AFR. Fred, how are you, man?
I'm great, fellas, man. That's a hell of an interest right there, brother. Thanks for having me on.
It's our pleasure, man. Of course, two-time All-SEC, was a consensus All-American back in 2000. He was a second-round draft pick of the Redskins back in 2001. Hey, were you with the Redskins with our guy RC, with Ryan Clark, back in the early 2000s?
Yes, I was there with RC. And the funny thing about me and Ryan Clark, we played against each other at Mississippi State and LSU, and both of us rolled number 2. We came out there, we met each other in pregame and started talking trash to each other, and we've been blood brothers ever since.
That makes a lot of sense. That sounds like RC a little bit would do that. RC's great. We love him here. But you know what? Obviously, RC had great success against you when he was at LSU and you're at Mississippi State. I mean, State never wins this game.
I'm sorry, you are reporting bad news. That's false news. Now, the thing about it is, what happened was we beat them in 2000. They beat us in 2001 when we came down to LSU for the night game. But no, and they beat us by like 7 points then. So I had a good career. We was the first team to beat LSU at Mississippi State in like 12, 13 years.
In the last team. It was, in the last team. It was 1999 when Wayne Madkin scored when he really didn't. And y'all stole the game. I mean, that happens. Like, you got it's the only way you can win back then, Fred, was you had to steal a game.
Listen, referees are part of the game. You praise them when they hit it right on the head, but sometimes they come up short. They are human, too. They are human beings, brother.
Fred, it's great to have you back, man. We appreciate it. It's always a lot of fun. We're going to pick some games in a second, but man, I love following along your content as well. Like, are you exclusively doing stuff with the Washington Commanders, or are you doing other media stuff as well?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm doing a lot of the media stuff, but a bulk of the stuff I do most definitely is with the Commanders, with the team. A lot of in-house shows that I do, from podcasts to Command Center to raw practice footage. A lot of stuff, breaking film down, man. Just football has always been a part of my life, and football continues to be a part of my life.
He's on Twitter. You can follow him at FSmoot21. Sean T. Obviously, a great homage there to the late Sean Taylor, who was teammates in Washington there with the Redskins back in the day. Hey, I would love a thought before we pick games on Coach Prime. Would you have loved to have played for that guy?
Hey, listen, I actually played with my first year. Think about this, fellas. When I walked into my DB room for the first time after I just got drafted, I got drafted, and then like a week later, 2 weeks later, we had a mini camp. I walk in my meeting room. I got Deion Sanders. I call it Yellow Jacket Valley. I got Deion Sanders, Al Green, and Champ Bailey, and then it's Fred Smoot. What am I doing here? I went back outside and said, Marty, why did you draft me? He was like, boy, go back in that room. We drafted you youngsters for a reason. It ended up being that Deion ended up going through turf toe, so he retired for a year and a half and then went to the Ravens. He gave me my number 21, gave me his locker, gave me everything, and then me and Champ Bailey ended up starting from then on, and I guess everything else is history, fella.
What do you think? Like, is that the kind of guy you would have loved to have played for, or did you need a more like straight line coach?
I'm sorry. At the end of the day, it's no living room that Deion Sanders can't walk in, and the mother knows him, the daddy knows him, and the son knows him, and he's gonna. If he walks in your living room, he's leaving with your child. I don't care what you think or what you think's going on. Like, it's a new day, and the new day is usually great players don't become great coaches. You don't see Michael Jordan. You don't see all these other guys becoming it. They're because they can't give their greatness to other people and make them great. Where Deion is one of those people, he can. He was a great football player, a great baseball player. He was great in the media. He was even a great entertainer. I hate to say it. He dropped pumps in the bump with MC Hammer. Nothing he do, cannot do. So at the end of the day, all I'm saying is some guys, we see it all the time. Some guys got the Midas touch. Whatever he touch turns to gold. Coach Prime is that guy. And I know why he's making the coaches afraid. Because anytime you get a polarizing football player in here, nobody can teach you football better than ex-football players.
Hey, Fred, and Fred Smoot is our guest, our celebrity guest picker. Would you like, what do you think about Zach Arnett, the Mississippi State coach? Because he is the anti-Deion. He is a very, very reserved, low-key kind of dude.
And I like that, too. Like, I like to be coached hard. I like to be pushed. I like to be challenged. That's what Coach Arnett is going to do. He's seizing his opportunity. I love the fact that he's defensive-minded. No matter what, he understands what Mississippi State football is about. Coach Sherrill was just like that. You could talk to Coach Sherrill, but Coach Sherrill was going to put the hammer down, and that's just the way it was going to be. So I think Coach Arnett got a good group, and usually the one thing we don't have at Mississippi State that sets us back, it's quarterback. Like, that's where we usually separate it. But with Will, we have a quarterback that can make every throw. We got running backs. We got wide receivers. And I hate to say it to old Tiger Nation, we about to run Brian Kelly out of there.
All right, let's pick some games here. Fred, how much college football do you get to watch?
I watch Saturdays is me and my sons and my daughters. That's all we do is watch college football. I'm a college football addict.
I love it. All right, let's get to this. Fred, so no point spreads. Just winners. So all we're doing, there's 10 games. We're going to run through it, and we'll have our leaderboard at the end of the season. Paul, you want to run up with the leaderboard right now? So Tony La Russa was our guest picker week 1. He went 5-4, so we had 9 games. He was 5-4. Last week, Neil Weiner went 7-2. So, all right, Fred Smoot, our celebrity guest picker, will start you off with an inter-conference matchup with Kansas State at Missouri. Big 12 at SEC. What do you think, Fred?
You know what? I'm SEC to the day I die, but the one thing I tell you this, men and women lie, numbers don't. I'm going with Kansas State in this one. Kansas State is known to play great special teams, good defense, and the one thing about Missouri, they can get a lead, but they can't keep it. So I'm going with Kansas State.
Theriot.
This one, where is this one? In Missouri?
It's in Columbia, Missouri.
Give me Missouri on this one.
Fred's 100% right. I like Kansas State, and I like Kansas State big in that game. South Carolina at Georgia. It's a giant line, but maybe Georgia's sleepwalking a little bit. What do you think, Fred? South Carolina at Georgia.
Well, I'm pulling for South Carolina. I'm pulling for Coach Beamer. He got a delightful group of guys over there, but I hate to say it, they're going to get ran out of there. Georgia's just too strong, too much talent. They got the cream of the crop in the SEC. Nobody beats them. And no, it's not going to be South Carolina. I'm going Georgia.
UGA.
Georgia. All right, we're all Georgia. All right, Minnesota on the road at North Carolina. Gophers and Tar Heels. Fred, what do you think?
Well, the Gophers can play some football. I used to live up there. Don't forget, I watched a lot of Gophers football when I was a Minnesota Vikings.
Yep.
Now, the thing about it is, I like that Drake May, though. I think Drake May is most definitely a Pro Bowl pro quarterback. I'm going with North Carolina. The better quarterback usually win, and that got them traveling to North Carolina. I'm going with the Tar Heels.
Yep, UNC.
All right, we're all going North Carolina there as well. This is an interesting one, Fred. Washington is going to Michigan State. Michigan State's got a weird situation with, obviously, their coach being suspended. So, Mel Tucker, do they get an interim bump? What do you think, Fred? Washington at Michigan State.
That's funny. Some situations like that could galvanize a team and make them scary. You know, they have something to play for. But Michael Penix Jr., I'm sorry, I told you, I always go with the quarterback. At the end of the day, and then, you know, the SEC, we had a problem with the last remnants of the Pac-12. So I'm going to go with Washington on this.
All right, he's got Washington. UW. All right, we're all UW there as well. How about this one, Fred? Tennessee at Florida. Tennessee has not won in Gainesville since 2003. 20 years. Do they break that streak on Saturday?
First of all, I was a young man at that time. Wish I could get that time back. But at the end of the day, that streak is over. I don't know if you watch Florida play, but they retired 2 years ago and didn't tell nobody. At the end of the day, I'm going with Tennessee in a landslide.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Tennessee's going to win big. Yeah, Florida's in a bad spot right now.
Okay.
They just don't have the guys.
Yeah, they don't. They just don't have the talent. Think about it. They couldn't win with Richardson last year. I don't know what they can do.
It's a 6-point spread. I'm just look, night game in the swamp. Every year, everybody plays their best game at some point. Tennessee will have Florida's undivided attention. This is going to be close. Like, this is going to be a 4-quarter game. Like, I would be stunned if Tennessee goes in there and rolls them. I'm going to pick Tennessee because, like Fred said, give me the better quarterback. Give me Joe Milton in this game, of course, to make a play. But I think that's a close game. We'll all pick Tennessee, but I think it's going to be close, Fred.
I cannot believe you. You look like a grasshopper crack. Give me some of the cinnamon toast crack that you smoking because this game would not be close.
All right. I actually made a play on Florida with the points. I made Florida plus the 6.
Oh,
so,
wow.
I put my money where my mouth is, Fred. I actually believe this is going to be a close game.
I respect that.
All right. All right, we've got a couple more. This one is only interesting for people who have Vandy's season win total over. Vandy is at UNLV. They're playing that in Allegiant Stadium, the Raiders Stadium. Vanderbilt at UNLV. You got anything on this, Fred?
Got that UNLV even had a football team. So the one thing that you know about, I'm going to go with the team that plays against the greater competition. And the one thing about Vanderbilt, keep the GPA of the SEC up, so I really respect those guys. Yeah. And those guys can actually play some football. I played with Corey Chambers and a couple of guys from there. Okay. I'm going with Vanderbilt, SEC to the end.
Vandy. All right, we're all Vandy. BYU is at Arkansas. It was funny. There was a tweet where BYU players couldn't even point out the state of Arkansas on a map. Some were like, I didn't even know that was a state. So, what do you think here, Fred? BYU at Arkansas.
Well, I should have called down there and told the people at BYU 70% of the campus last name is Smith. So we'll leave it at that. Now, I'm most definitely going to go with Arkansas. Quarterback from Mississippi. I love him. He's big. He rumbles. At the end of the day, that's Arkansas hands down.
I'm going BYU because half of their team's 30, 35 years old and,
That's true.
and older.
That's true. They old.
You know,
you got grown-ups.
Dropping the kids off at daycare. I mean, it's like grown up.
The family section is for wives and kids.
Wives and kids, yeah. There's no parents.
For sure.
I like BYU. And Arkansas stinks. So I'm going to go BYU.
I can't believe you picked the 60-year-old men's group, boy band. I can't believe you picked those guys. Arkansas is a better team than you think.
I agree with Fred. I'm going with Arkansas in this game. It's at Reynolds Razorback Stadium. It's at night, and I like KJ Jefferson as well, and I don't think BYU is very good, but I think LSU is going to pummel Arkansas next week in Baton Rouge. All right, 3 more, Fred. Syracuse at Purdue, just because I had to fill up the card. What do you think? Syracuse at Purdue.
Syracuse was a tough out last year, but most of their talent got drafted. Now, the one thing I know of Purdue, they do have a quarterback and a couple of wideouts, and if you do have that plus some Big Ten linemen, you're going to be able to put up some points. I don't think Syracuse is going to be able to keep up. I'm going with Purdue.
All right.
Where's this one at?
It's at Purdue.
You give me Purdue.
All right, I'm going to go Syracuse just to pick differently here. I think Dino Babers has kind of gotten that thing turned around a little bit, so I'll go Syracuse. Backyard brawl, Pitt at West Virginia. What you think, Fred?
Pitt at West Virginia. Pitt is a hard out for people, man. Living here on the East Coast, I've got to watch a lot of Pittsburgh, but I almost went to West Virginia. Took a recruit trip there, too. And guess what? I don't remember none of the 2 days I was there. It was a great time. All right, so I'm going to show some loyalty right here. My heart is saying Pitt, but I'm going to pick West Virginia because I took a trip there.
Give me Pitt. I like their uniforms.
West Virginia at home. They are burning couches at night in Morgantown on Saturday. They're going to beat Pitt. All right, Fred, last one. LSU gets to beat Mississippi State for the 10,000th time on Saturday. You going to pick it or you going to be a homer?
I'm not going to be a homer, man. I told you. Hey, I was always taught it's criminal. You can lie to your wife. You can lie to your mama. But if you lie to yourself, that makes you a criminal. Now, what I'm going to do is tell myself the truth. We have the better team. I'm sorry, Brian Kelly. The one thing, you cannot fake out Southerners with a fake Southern accent. I'm from the South. I can't even wipe mine out. At the end of the day, I'm going with Mississippi State. I just think we're a thicker crew that's got it more together. If you call it an upset, that's fine. I don't because I'm picking Mississippi State.
The Tigers are going to win this game. At 21 points, probably. They're going to win.
LSU's.
At the end of the day, Florida State, they're a good team.
Yes.
They outclassed them. They showed you that LSU, they might have some players, but the game plan don't match the players.
LSU's won 17 of the last 20. Mississippi State's coach is atrocious, and he'll be fired within 2 or 3 years. He's not a leader of men. They can't decide what they want to do. The one thing LSU can't do is defend the pass. State decided they ain't going to throw the ball no more. I don't know what that team is. Fred, you could come out of retirement and play for Mississippi State tomorrow and be better than the guys that are going to roll out there. LSU's going to roll in this ballgame.
No, I cannot come out of retirement, but I tell you this. If I had to pick from the pros that's in the league right now, besides the wide receiver group, I would pick Mississippi State players over LSU players. Chris Jones, best defensive lineman in football. Big Jeffrey Simmons, Fletcher Cox, Montez Sweat. I can go on and on. Dak Prescott, LSU don't got a better quarterback in the league than Prescott.
You'll take Dak Prescott over Joe Burrow?
Well, first of all, Joe Burrow really Ohio State.
No, don't you do that. Don't you go there, Fred Smoot. Don't you go there, Fred Smoot. Don't you do that.
Y'all got a loan, and that's what happened.
This will go from cordial to fighting words real quick if you try to claim Joe Burrow for Ohio State.
Well, you know what? But Joe Burrow was this. Joe Burrow married into your family. He married your daughter. That's what made him part of the family. He wasn't born in it.
What was he before?
He was Joe Burrow, man. Don't try to be the reason he came up. But it was a great marriage that y'all had, but we know deep down inside, y'all do not just say 100% bingo right there. Y'all don't say that.
100% he is. That man put BURREAUX on the back of his jersey on senior day. He's ours forever.
He wears LSU pads under his uniform.
I dare you to try to take him away. I dare you.
Hey, all I'm saying is, stepchildren part of the family, too.
Dak hadn't finished a season since he's been in the
Dak
NFL,
stinks.
though. Come on.
Dak stinks. I do like Jeffrey Simmons, though. He's a great player.
Chris Jones is a monster.
They're great players, for sure. And Montez Sweat. They had a minute. You know what, Fred, that's true. Mississippi State had a great defensive line one time, and they won 8 games.
How can they not win with all those guys?
They stink. That's why.
Guess what? Get that hate out of y'all heart. Release all of that hate. It's only going to set y'all back in life.
He is the great Fred Smoot. Hey, man, it's always fun. I really appreciate the time today. Every 5 years or so, we run you down, and it's always a blast, man. We got to do it more often. Thank you for the time today.
I've been saying, let's do it more often. It ain't just got to be Mississippi State, LSU. Come on, I can talk football, all sports, anytime, fellas.
You want to come on Monday?
Yeah, why not?
What about Tuesday?
I'm going to come on Monday because I want to rub it in. I really want to tell y'all, too, with me being from Mississippi, I know the truth. There is no Tigers running free in the state of Louisiana. You either pick the wrong mascot.
You know what? Bet. Monday, you're back here, win or lose, all right?
All right, Phil.
All right, I'm going to follow up with you. Thank you, Fred.
Thanks, Fred.
And thanks for having me.
Be well. That is the great Fred Smoot. I love Fred Smoot.
He's the best.
Like, probably my favorite non-LSU SEC athlete ever. I love Fred Smoot. All right, it's after further review. Stay here.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured, it's not your fault. You know what to do. Go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com or call 888-8888. Got that number?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
It's easy. 888-8888.
Nailed it. 888-8888 or go to getgordon.com. Hey, remember, every single week throughout the football season, Gordon has the members of the G team signing football. So it's Garrett Nussmeier, it's Mason Smith, it's Mason Taylor, it's Greg Brooks, it's all Kyron Lacey, all of the members of the G team signing footballs. And every week throughout the year, they're giving those away before every game. So make sure you go to Gordon's social media to check on how you can enter to win one of those signed footballs by members of the G team. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. For more than 30 years, Gordon's been helping injured people in our state. So if you've been injured, you need representation, get Gordon and get it done. Go to getgordon.com. Get Gordon. Get it done.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Scoocha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, in Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down the
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Who is the LSU equivalent of Fred Smoot? Do we have one? Do we have a Fred Smoot? Fred Smoot is a world-class trash talker. Like, I love his energy because it's so easy to get on radio and kind of mail it in.
Yeah.
And like his energy is at an 11. On a 1 to 10, he's an 11 on every answer. And he's so quick, and his trash talking is epic. Like, is there an LSU? Do we have a Fred Smoot? Anybody?
I mean, well, you just talking about like the energy and everything like that, and the references and things. I mean, is it Ryan Clark?
I mean,
like,
probably.
Is it or Swagoo?
Probably.
I'd say RC more than Swagoo for sure.
Trash talk. RC doesn't really trash talk though.
I mean.
Fred Smoot, like
I would have to imagine when he played, he did.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. But I'm talking about like that. Like I could wind RC up. Like I know I could put a ball on a tee and RC could do it because RC's a great broadcaster.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just feel like if I walked up to Fred Smoot in real life and was like he would any one of those one-liners that he just ripped off, he'd have him ready to go.
Yeah.
That was so good. Anyway, oh, Alabama's going to change quarterbacks. Did you see this?
I saw that.
So Tyler Buckner, Chris Lowe is the first to report it. No, I'm sorry. Forgive me. 247 Sports was the first to report it. Chris Lowe had it at ESPN, but 247 was first. Report is that sophomore Tyler Buckner is expected to start over Jalen Milroe. Bama is at South Florida. So they're playing in Tampa against USF, the Bulls. So they're playing in and then people are asking why would you play that game? I mean, you probably play that game if you're Bama for a couple of reasons. Number one, primarily is recruiting. You get to go on the road into the state of Florida and play a game there where recruits from Miami and Tampa can come watch you play. Orlando can come watch you play. That's one reason for sure. Maybe it's a 2-for-1 type deal. I don't know if they sign that, but sometimes you'll see that where It's you come play 2 games at our place, we'll play 1 at yours, a 2-for-1. And so the lesser team is willing to do that because they'll get the draw at the gate of a home game, of 1 home game of having that team come to their place. So, but anyway, Tyler Buchner is going to give it a go. This is sort of, Bama's a huge favorite, and they're going to blow out South Florida, who's not very good. But it's one of those instances where it feels like, okay, Jalen Milroe had his tune-up against Middle Tennessee and then was really challenged against Texas, and it didn't go well. So it really feels like for Alabama and for Tyler Buchner, this is that opportunity, right? This is, you have your tune-up, so to speak, with South Florida, and next week they play Ole Miss. Now, I don't think Ole Miss is a great team, but Ole Miss is a ranked team, and that's going to be a more sincere challenge, even though it's at home, than playing at South Florida. So it kind of feels like this is the moment, like or Tyler Buchner, you going to step up and take it and win it and be the guy? You have this opportunity to get your feet wet. I would assume he'll start next week at home against Ole Miss and see how that goes.
Yeah. And look, I say you kind of saw this one coming, but you did. I mean, I don't know if it's an excuse type deal for Alabama, if they're searching for something, but you know, the Milroe, the amount of wide receivers that he missed wide open in that Texas game was astonishing. He had the deep ball the entire game and just could not miss it. So you almost knew a change was going to happen. If you get a guy that can distribute the ball to the wide receivers, I think Alabama's going to be fine.
I don't think Alabama has good wide receivers. That's
running wild, man. He had some guys wide open.
The
running back out of the backfield, 2 touchdowns. He missed him on that wheel route.
Jermaine Burton, who transferred him from Georgia, is a dude. I think he wears number 3 for Bama. Burton's really good. Aside from that, man, I know Isaiah Bond has on the season 6 catches for 110 yards. I mean, they don't have any receiver with double-digit receptions.
I mean, how much is that the type of offense they were playing, though? You know what I mean? Like, he's looking to run a little bit before. I don't know.
It's different. But that speaks to it, though. But if you have guys that are, like if they had Devontae Smith, that makes a quarterback's job way easier. What I'm saying is they don't have Devontae Smith and Henry Ruggs and Jalen Waddle. Like, for a minute there, Bama was rolling through like Jerry Jeudy. I mean, those guys were on the same team. Mm-hmm. Like, they just don't. Where are those guys on this team? They're not there. That's kind of the point. I mean, their best guy is a transfer from Georgia.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I think that's tough sledding for anybody who's under center there in Tuscaloosa. I picked Bama to go 9-3 this year. Again, like, there's a lot I didn't get right. We strikes and gutters, you know. But one of the things, like, the 2 things I think I got right, I was high on Colorado. That looks good. And I said this is the worst quarterback year in the SEC since 2014. And it's going to be a down year for the league, and Bama's going to go 9-3 as a result. And it's like all that is sort of manifesting right now.
When's the last time they haven't won 10 games, Bama? It's been a while.
Nick's first year, 2007. Because in 2010, they lost. They went to I think they lost 3 in 2010, but they won the bowl game to get to 10 wins. They blew out Michigan State in the Capital One Bowl, Citrus Bowl, whatever they called it at the time. They lost in 2010. They lost to LSU, South Carolina, and Auburn. So 2010. It's been a long time, bro.
Been a minute.
All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Traction, TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com. Traction, where champions are made. Have you gone up to the pitching lab yet at Traction?
I have.
Upstairs?
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
That is a really cool thing. You can go check it out on the social media. They have a side-by-side, a before and after, of a young kid, maybe 8 or 9 years old, working in the pitching lab upstairs at Traction. Sort of like a before and after. And the changes in his motion, his efficiency are incredible. And, of course, it's all measured there. My point is, whatever sport your son or daughter plays, you can get sport-specific training. And the really crazy thing, which I would have thought, man, this is just massively expensive and few people would be able to afford it. But the small group training memberships are incredibly affordable for anybody. And you can have unlimited sessions per month, sport-specific training. So learn more at TractionSports.com. And, of course, Traction Elite Physical Therapy. If you need to get back in the game, whether you're an athlete or whether you're a weekend golfer or you're into ancient athletes, you just lead an active lifestyle, swimming, running, and you want to get back to that to work through an injury, Traction Elite Physical Therapy is the best. Just don't go there this weekend because Chad's a Mississippi State guy, and he's going to be wearing his Mississippi State stuff today.
Oh, yeah.
So for sure wearing the Mississippi State stuff today. We go on Monday and laugh at them when LSU beats Mississippi State.
That's right.
TractionSports.com, Traction, where champions are made. We'll wrap up with Ask Ryan, LSU-Mississippi State pick. We get our Saints-Panthers preview and pick in our next segment. But right now, though, Muso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
All right, the Minnesota Vikings stink. They're not very good, but the LSU players on their team are, and both of them had great nights last night against Philly. Justin Jefferson, 11 receptions on 13 targets for 159 yards and a long of 30. Still looking for the end zone this season, but back-to-back just dominant days going over 100 yards, and much better this time around against Darius Slay, where he was held under 50 yards last season against Slay, 159 this time. Danielle Hunter, not to be outdone on the defensive side, 8 tackles. How about 3 sacks last night for Danielle Hunter? All over Jalen Hurts and making the most of that brand new contract that he got this past offseason.
That surpasses sack total at LSU in 3 years.
That's, yeah.
Got him.
Yeah, man. I know. It's just, every time I watch him play, I'm like, if they just could have unlocked that there. That would have been epic. DJ LeMahieu.
Hey!
Really, really solid night for DJ. Game number 2 of a doubleheader yesterday. 3 for 5. The Yankees won. Good for them. Yeah, they stink. They're in last place still.
Who did they beat?
Not important.
Who did they beat? I think it's facts.
It's
we
facts.
Need to be factually accurate.
They beat the Boston Red Sox. In fact, I'll go one further for you, Matt. They swept the Boston Red Sox.
Yes, they did.
4 games there.
Needed it.
You're still in last place.
Here we come.
In fact, they're tied with the Red Sox for last place. It's just been a banner year for the rivalry. 3 for 5 for DJ last night. One of those hits was a double, his 21st of the year. Also drove in 2 runs and scored 1. We'll wrap things up with the Rangers and the Blue Jays. Kevin Gausman was on the bump last night for Toronto. Took it on the chin a little bit against those Rangers. 4 2/3, gave up 4 earned, struck out 5, 6 walks. That's the big number that really got him in trouble there, and he got tagged with the loss at 11-9. Josh Smith for the Rangers. Wore the collar, but still productive. Drew a walk and drove in a run in the ball game as well. That's Tigers in the Press.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gentlemen, thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Sure to make her the envy of all of her friends. I think I said that right. All of her friends will be envious, and you'll be the hero. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Going to pop the question. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and online, lmfj.com. All right, it is After Further Review. Brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. T-Bob and I will be at Don Juan tomorrow for Whiskey and Wine. So as soon as the LSU-Mississippi State game goes final, boom, we'll fire up Whiskey and Wine. Come join us there in Town Center. It is a lot of fun to hang out, have yourself a beer, cocktail, premium cigar, hang out while we hopefully celebrate a LSU win over Mississippi State on Whiskey and Wine. Okay, it's After Further Review. When we come back, Theriot and I will preview and pick Saints-Panthers, and then we'll wrap up with a little Ask Ryan and an LSU-Mississippi State pick. Don't go anywhere. It's Football Friday edition of AFR.
AFR.
Hey, by the way, tomorrow, Eagle 98.1 Game Day from Rouse's pregame show in studio. Post-game, Rouse is on Burbank because of the early start. Of course, every single Saturday, Eagle 98.1 Game Day lives at Rouse's on Burbank. So get on by. Get your tailgate or your home gate, your game watch needs over at Rouse's. Meats to throw on the grill, chips and dips and all the other sides and platters. They got you. You need the adult beverages or the goodies for the kids. They got it. Something sweet to pass around. Rouse's has it in their bakery. Go to any of the 60 Rouse's locations from Lake Charles all the way to Orange Beach, Alabama. And make sure you look for Rouse's branded products. You'll save money, and they're amazing quality products when they start with every one of them with, can we source this locally? So you're supporting great local businesses when you get those Rouse's branded products. From Rouse's, this feels like home.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
At Corval Toyota Toyota in Opelousas, you can lease a new Toyota 4Runner for $489 per month. That's right. You can get a brand new 2023 Toyota 4Runner for $489 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
It was a humid day. Barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Muse. Mike M. on the text line said, tell 420 himself that the Yankees took 3 out of 4.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
I thought they swept both doubleheaders. That's my mistake then.
Well, it's not my mistake.
I'm kind of like you, Matt. I've checked out a little bit there on the old Boston Red Sox.
I'm not even going to bust your balls over it because I get it.
They're literally tied with each other for last place.
I know. So bad.
You know.
Why are y'all's teams so bad?
Hey, chill out.
I don't know, baseball guy. Tell me why, please.
Yeah, really.
I would love to know.
I don't watch either one of those
I know
teams.
a giant part for the Yankees was injuries early in the season derailed them, and they never got back on track. So,
especially Judge. Judge went out the lineup. They could score.
When Judge went out of the lineup, the Yankees' average run per game dropped almost 2 runs per game, which is stunning that one player could account for that much offense. But that goes to show you how Aaron Judge-centric their offense was. And they got old. I mean, you got a bunch of aging veterans that just aren't good anymore. So Josh Donaldson at one point in his life was an MVP. He stinks. I mean, it's just what it is. They're done. They had their window. It's not there anymore. So, as for Boston, I don't know. I
was going to. I don't know what happened.
They have no starting pitching. That was one giant factor.
Yeah. Okay. Football. Yeah, let's do football stuff. All right. Paul astutely reminded me that because, of course, it's Monday Night Football, that I should wait to give my Saints pick till Monday. I mean, that would make a lot of sense. I will give you what I think are some keys to this game. Would you like to give your pick on the Saints-Panthers? A little breakdown and pick?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'll give it. I don't know a whole lot about the Panthers. Bryce Young's the quarterback.
Yes.
Looked okay last week. Not great, but he was decent. With Horn being out, I think that's going to be a big plus for the Saints. Mike Thomas looked pretty good last week.
Yeah.
I mean,
if he can stay healthy, there's no question if he can stay healthy.
He looked pretty good last week. And then the little guy, what was his name?
Rashid Shaheed.
Shaheed. Oh my gosh. Now, other than the
fumbling the
fumble
opening kickoff.
Yeah.
What a way to start your season.
But he could be an X factor that offense really, really needs. And the Saints, I thought the Saints looked good. Derek Carr, look, you're right. Not the guy that's going to win the Super Bowl. But what I like about Derek Carr is he ain't afraid to let it rip.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, like,
he's a good NFL quarterback.
He's going to let it rip, man.
He's a good NFL quarterback.
I think the Saints are going to win. I think the Saints are going to win every game that they play from here on out, and they're going to go to the Super Bowl, and then they're going to lose in the Super Bowl. But it's going to be a really good year, and so I'm excited, man. I'm in.
By the way, Ron Burlishow, shout out, who said, Matt, all turf fields will have natural grass installed for the World Cup. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I know, like, New Orleans. So here's my question. For example, we were talking about earlier, I don't know why this came up. We were talking about Aaron Rodgers getting injured, I think, on the turf field. And someone, I think you'd mentioned World Cup. I can see how at MetLife, it's an outdoor stadium. Okay, you can put. I mean, New Orleans was bidding to host the World Cup as well. They did not get one of the games, but what would you have done in the Superdome? Yeah. Can you put grass in the Superdome?
Wasn't there was it in Phoenix maybe?
So in Phoenix,
where they have
grass,
it rolls
the field rolls so it gets outdoor exposure, and then they roll it back in. But it's in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Real estate ain't hard out there in Glendale. You know, like you could take 100 yards of real estate and have it for where you roll the field out into the sun. But like Indianapolis is another one. I think World Cup games are being held in Indianapolis. That's an indoor turf field. What are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure they have to have a contingency, but I mean, you could, I guess in theory, take the sod and and roll sod out on the play surface. But will it congeal? Like, will it grow together to be one surface, or you can have these patches where they're separated? Then you cause even larger injury risks. I mean, I'm sure way smarter people have thought of all this stuff, but it is something worth considering. Like the outdoor venues, it's easy to say, all right, well, MetLife Stadium, you got to put turf there. Okay. Buy some sod it with plenty of time, it grows, and it's good. Other issues there. By the way, so we'll wrap up with Ask Ryan. So you get your questions in for Theriot. We'll put a button on. We'll get our LSU-Mississippi State picks. We'll do that next. I think the Saints are just pretty obvious. Like, Saints moved the ball last week.
Yeah.
They put up 16 points. They didn't score.
Yeah,
you move the ball, you didn't score. Couldn't finish in the red zone. Maybe some of that's not having Alvin Kamara. You still don't have Alvin Kamara.
When does he come back?
He's got 3-game suspension. So, I think the real benefit for the Saints here is the Saints' defense is really good. Really good. And Bryce Young's a rookie quarterback. They have no receivers in Carolina. And I think the Saints are going to move the ball because the Carolina secondary is injured and not very good. J.C. Horn's out. So the Saints are going to be able to throw the ball, move the ball, and they'll score. They're just not going to score a ton, but they're going to win the game because their defense is better. So I'll give you a full preview and prediction of that on Monday, though. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Mold Zero, mold-0usa.com. Mold-0usa.com for Mold Zero USA. I love Mold Zero. Jim's a great guy. And, of course, Air Force veteran. He served our country. He's been involved. This is the anniversary of 9/11 was earlier this week. He was there, ground zero, helping with the recovery post 9/11. Found his way back to the South with the BP oil spill, helped with the recovery there. So it's very natural. Talk about a remediation company recovering from events like that. Jim Woodworth's got great experience doing it. Mold Zero was born out of that. Mold-0usa.com. Mold-0usa.com. You got mold, odor, other harmful pathogens at your home, your office building. They've done churches. They've done school buildings, public buildings. Mold Zero. It's easy. They come in. They spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. You let that fog dwell. It kills all the mold, the spores, all of it. As soon as the fog dissipates, boom, you're back in free and clear. You're not cutting sheetrock or pulling carpet or anything like that. It's an easy process. It's cost-effective. It's less invasive. It's Mold Zero. Mold-0USA.com. Mold-0USA.com. Okay, it's after further review. Final break. We'll come back, wrap up with Ask Ryan and an LSU-Mississippi State pick. Don't you move. Safe
AFR.
Bayou Ford is taking $10,000 off MSRP on select new 23 Ford F-150 trucks. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Officially, it's a fridge full of beer. Unofficially, it's free AC. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Football Friday edition of AFR. Like my hat, huh? Do you want it?
I'm feeling it. I want one. I don't want yours. I want one.
You can have it. I'll get another one. I know where to get it. It's a Shaw Bills hat. Shout out to Martin. Dropped me off the Shaw Bills hat. I love it. What's the matter over there? You good?
Well, something's going on with my, this is why I don't bring tech in here. That's why I don't do this.
What's the matter?
I'm trying to join my hotspot. It's not working. You know what?
This says, do you want to share? I'll share it with you. Here, look, I just shared it with you. Oh, a little notification said share. I just shared it with you. There it is. You're good. You should be good.
I got it.
I just shared it with you. A little pop-up thing comes, do you want to share the password? I just shared it with you.
Hey, bro. Thank you. You're the man. All right.
TK asked Ryan, who was here first, Natural Grass or Jerry Sullivan?
Searsucker. Searsucker was here first, and you know
That
what?
is not
Haspel was the ones that was doing, and this is 100 years. Local company, Haspel.com. For all your searsucker needs, the pucker in the cloth is what keeps it from sticking to your skin.
Greg Lane, perfect nickname for Theriot. Crickets have short legs also.
Oh, that's real funny. Who said that? That's the same Greg Lane guy. Stop reading the crap from him. He's probably 5'4". Guy's an idiot.
Noel Nah said, can Smoot be the guest picker every week? Better yet, if ESPN was smart, they'd put him on game day.
True. They would put him on game. And look, the Greg Lane guy, you know what? I'm going to tell the people at Haspel, the ones that are doing 80% off sale right now, by the way, 80% off.
80%?
80% off final sale at Haspel. That Greg doesn't get the 80% off at Haspel.com.
Got it. Really, 80% off?
Paying full price, Greg.
80%? Wow. Incredible. Caleb Williams. I don't think this is the quarterback, Caleb Williams. Ask Grasshopper, favorite baseball or football movie?
I really like Blindside. I know that's probably,
No, it's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
It's an Academy Award-winning movie.
Yep. Bull Durham's hilarious. Field of Dreams is good. Major League's hilarious. Little Big League's great. There's a lot of good baseball ones.
Give me an LSU-Mississippi State final.
35-17 Tigers.
Okay. I got LSU 34-24. Defense is going to give up yards and points. It's what they do. They're going to give up yards and points.
Mm-hmm.
I just think LSU's offense is just way better. And LSU's got way better players. And they'll go figure it out. They'll get out of there with a win. Move on to Arkansas next week. So, all right, we'll do it for us. I'm going to Chappelle in New Orleans. I'm fired up about this. Bill Show. See you.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. If you're in the market for a new vehicle or might, especially parents whose kiddos are going to be driving for the first time. You know you want to get them something that is going to be affordable, but also safe. And you want to get them something that they're going to think is stylish and fun to drive. A Volkswagen is the best of both worlds. Maybe it's the Jetta. Maybe it's the Tiguan, which is the compact, fun-sized SUV. They've got great options. Right now, 3.9% APR for 72 months on a Cross Sport. They got great deals right now. The Taos, 1.9% APR, their fun-sized SUV. Check it out. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer that can give you a better deal because they move more Volkswagens in anyone. It's South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction?
Life in Louisiana is a song. A symphony of sound, colors, and movement. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there.